evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Field of Dreams. Tonight's matchup features the Carlsbad Cavemen and your Onate Knights. At this time, we'd ask that everybody please rise and remove your hats as the Onate High School Navy Junior ROTC presents the colors. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as the Onate Knight Royal Regiment plays the national anthem.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another fantastic edition of Friday Night Lights here in Las Cruces, New Mexico, where the Onate Knights are about to take on the Carlsbad Cavemen for another round of district play. Now, Cameron, this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Both of these teams are 2nd and 4 overall, although Carlsbad is 0-2 in district, whereas Onate is 2-0. What do you expect from the Knights tonight?
I'll tell you what, Max, this looks like it's a season of streaks for the Knights. They started off the season 0-4, but right now they're on a 2-game winning streak, and they're 2-0 in District 3-6A here in New Mexico. If they're able to get a win tonight, they'd move up to 3-0 and leave them at first place in the district, which would be amazing for the Knights.
Absolutely, Cameron. Now, as far as the Carlsbad side of things go, they took a pretty hard loss to Centennial High School last Friday night. Starting quarterback for the Hawks, Lance Frost, got some fantastic running touchdowns in on there, so they're going to want to focus on protecting the ground game foremost.
Absolutely. That's the first thing that the that the Cavemen head coach, Coach Bradley, needs to focus on tonight. It's getting the stops on the defensive side of the ball in order to get the ball back to the offense and quarterback, Jakin Willis.
Absolutely. And not necessarily only on the ground game, but also their defense is going to have to shape up when it comes to the secondary. Onate is working with a new spread offense, which they seem to be, I don't want to necessarily say close to perfecting, but developing very, very well with starting quarterback Aaron Sanchez under the leadership of head coach Scott Veliz. And they have some great receivers with number 11, Jaden Diaz, and number 24, Monroe Young.
Well, we certainly have seen a lot of progress out of this Onate Knights offense, Max, so far. If you look at their first game, the first game that we called of theirs versus Atrisco here at the Field of Dreams 5 weeks ago, it seemed like nothing could come together for their offense. But 2 weeks ago when the Knights played the Gadsden Panthers here at home, they were firing on all cylinders through the air, on the ground. It was a very well-oiled machine. Let's see if they can keep that up tonight.
Exactly, and that was a pretty fantastic mercy rule that the Knights pulled on the Gadsden Panthers a couple weeks back. Nice run by, or kick return by Monroe Young at the end, which sealed the deal for the game, put the final nail in the Gadsden Panthers' coffin. Now, on the as far as the Carlsbad offense go, starting quarterback Jakin Willis, I think he's going to have to improve on the air game, but he wasn't fantastically accurate last time, although he did have some nice runs.
No, and it's going to be very important that every possession that the Cavemen have tonight, they have to be able to take advantage of it, and maybe that means not necessarily scoring a touchdown on every drive, but moving the ball, playing field position well in order to stay in the game the entire night.
Definitely, Cameron. Now, all this talking is making me pretty hungry. It reminds me of this fantastic restaurant that I know in the downtown mall, Rosie's Cafe. Cameron, they have one of the best green chili cheeseburgers I've ever had.
Absolutely, Max. Rosie's Cafe, a cafe that I hadn't tried until a couple of years ago. That place is amazing. I recommend it to all of our viewers out there tonight.
Definitely. Alrighty then, now the Carlsbad Cavemen are going to get started off here. Jake Bowen is going to be kicking off number 1 for the Cavemen. 12 minutes left to go in the first quarter, score tied 0-0 as we get things started off here at the Field of Dreams. Now Onate has 3 set back behind the 20-yard line to receive this ball. It wouldn't surprise me if number 24, Monroe Young, is going to catch it.
Why not? How about that kick return that he took back to seal the deal versus the Panthers?
Definitely. Now Jake Bowen sends it pretty high to the right side. Onate return will be sat down at the 25-yard line for the Knights. That'll set up 1st and 10 for Onate as starting quarterback Aaron Sanchez will come out to start this offensive drive.
It almost looked like on that kickoff that the ball was going to roll out of bounds. If the Onate returner were to let that ball roll out of bounds, it would have been placed at the 35-yard line, which would have been obviously more advantageous than where it is right now. But you never know. It's kind of like in volleyball. Is it going to be out? Is it going to be in? That time he just took the safe route and fielded the catch.
Exactly. 11:57 left to go in the first. Things getting started off here. Knights are going to have the ball 1st and 10 on their own 25-yard line. Alrighty then. Now Sanchez set up here in the gun, 4 receivers out and 1 man accompanying in the backfield. Sends a guy in motion, quick lateral, and he is going to be taken down. And that will set the Knights back a solid 15 yards. Pass was out to Jaden Diaz in the backfield.
That looked like on that play, Jaden Diaz, who's the backup quarterback behind Aaron Sanchez, was going to throw it. He was going to try and send it out to number 4, Jared Rico, who was running the street down to the bottom of the screen. However, a defender was in his face right away, and Rico kind of got covered up down by the midfield.
Exactly. Now Sanchez sends a quick one out in the middle of the field. It is caught by the receiver who's going to go back right where the Knights started this drive. Catch was courtesy of number 5, Brandon Valise, the junior receiver. 11:08 left to go in the first quarter. After that catch made by Brandon Valise, it's going to set up a 3rd and 10 for the Knights. Sanchez in the shotgun, 4 receivers out once again. Pocket breaking down. Sanchez under pressure, and he is sacked. That was a very, very nice job of the Carlsbad front 7 to break through, and the sack was courtesy primarily of number 80, Xavier Ingram, the defensive end.
So, Max, we've seen with the exception of the catch by Brandon Valise on 2nd and long, these Onate receivers weren't able to create enough separation in the defensive secondary on this drive. That's something that they'll need to focus on the next drive. It's part of the reason why the quarterback got sacked so quickly. He had no options, not even a check down, and he was forced to take the sack.
Exactly. Early on in the game, though, they have time to recover. Now with the 4th and 13, Onate is going to punt here. Sends the ball deep to the right side. It's going to be bounced at the 30-yard line. Taken back by number 4 for Carlsbad. Returner is going up the right side of the field and will be sat down at the Cavemen 35-yard line. That return was number 4, Jordan Molina, for the Cavemen. And now with that, starting quarterback Jake Willis will come out here for Carlsbad High School, looking to put some points on the board. Score still tied 0-0. Cavemen have it 1st and 10 on their 35-yard line. 10:03 left to go in the first quarter.
So after giving up a lot of points to the Centennial Hawks last week, the Cavemen made a statement by stopping the Knights on their first drive. But as I said in pregame, they have to take advantage of every drive that they have on offense.
Indeed. Box pretty stacked here. Jake Willis with the handoff to running back Tate Collins for a solid game of 5 yards on the carry. Now, Tate Collins, a very, very physical back, Cameron. We saw him last game in the loss against Centennial last Friday night here at the Field of Dreams. Although Carlsbad was not necessarily able to take the dub that night, he does have very, very tremendous upper body strength, which could come in handy.
Absolutely, and he's running behind a very experienced and big offensive line, which is always going to help you out as a running back.
Exactly. Willis in the split back formation sends Tate Collins out to the left side. He is going to take the ball. Now, it looks like there's going to be a face mask, Cameron, penalty down there.
Absolutely, Max. A blatant face mask penalty committed by an Onate defender on that play. That'll be interesting to see if it's going to be one of the 5 or 15-yard varieties because he did not drag him down by the face mask. We'll see where they spot the ball.
Let's see here.
It's only going to be the 5-yard variety, which I think is a good call. It wasn't a blatant drag down by the face mask. Good job there by the official.
Exactly. Still an unfortunate mistake for that Onate High School defense. Willis once again under center with the handoff to number 1, Jake Bowen, who's going to power forward for a gain of 7 yards on the carry. 8, my apologies. And with that, that is going to set up a 2nd and 2 for the Cavemen with 8:53 left to go in the first quarter. Score still tied 0-0.
A lot of options that
Exactly, and it'll give starting quarterback Jake Willis an opportunity to work out as well. Willis set up once again in the shotgun, sends Jake Bowen out to the right side, but actually hands it off to Tate Collins, who's going to steamroll for a Caveman first down. 8:21 left to go in the first.
the Onate front four, the defensive confused. They don't seem in the backfield. It's a little bit of a guessing game as to where that ball's going to go each snap.
Definitely. Number one, Jake Bowen, who he is a man of many hats. He's the kicker, he's a wide receiver, and he also can double as a tailback. So that's certainly seems to be part of the confusion as Jake Bowen gets the handoff once again for a short gain of 1 yard on the carry. With that, it'll set up a 2nd and 9 for the Cavemen. 7:51 left to go in the first.
A much better job there by the front four for Onate of finding the ball carrier Bowen. Looks like they've sniffed that play out, and they'll have to turn to a new one here on these next couple of plays.
Now with this, Willis is under center once again. His number 4 Molina out to his left side, but he's going to elect to hand it off this time. So the back is muscling forward to get some more yardage. I think it was only a gain of 3. Possible too.
So now here we have 3rd and 5, Max, and Coach Bradley of the Cavemen might want to trust his quarterback, number 6, Willis, to air it out for the first time tonight on 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6 here. You're only about half.
Definitely. And even more so, I think his receivers are going to have to kick it in gear and do what the Onate receivers were not able to, which is turn on the afterburners and make some solid catches. Alrighty then, now with the pitch out to number 2, Tate Collins. He's going to roll forward but be just short of the first down. Let's see if they elect to go for it on this one, Cameron.
The core beliefs, Max.
Young on the stop. 4th down for Carlsbad.
Exactly, Cameron. You know, in this modern age of less conservative, more exciting, risk-taking football, I really love this option here. Jake Willis going to be set up in the pistol. He's going to hand it off to Tate Collins, who's going up to the right side of the field, and he will get the first down, as you had predicted.
Number 2, Tate Collins.
The look from the Cavemen, they took the snap out of the shotgun rather than in the pistol or under center, and I think that threw off the Onate front seven, who might have been expecting a screen pass play instead, and were able to get another.
Exactly. A bit of trickeration, what's turned out some pretty productive yards. 5:46 left to go in the first quarter. Score still tied 0-0. Cavemen have the ball 1st and 10 on the Onate High School 28-yard line. Jacob Willis set up with 4 receivers out. He's going to elect to hand it off once again. Looks like there was a fumble recovered by Onate. He is taking it to the 40-yard line, the 30, and he will be sat down. The Caveman number 6, Jake Willis, actually made the tackle. Can't quite catch the number there, Cameron. I believe it's either 9 or... I believe it was number 9 for the Onate Knights. Carlos Marshall, the linebacker.
How about the freshman linebacker? What a play to make for your varsity squad. Cool to get the ball back with your team. You got your crowd into it on senior night. Great job by number 9, Carlos.
Definitely. Looks like the class of 2021 is doing some great things for the Knights tonight, as they are going to get their offensive possession back on track. Aaron Sanchez here in the split back formation. 2 receivers out to his right. Sanchez is going to elect to hand it off. Looks like the ball almost came out there. The handoff was to number 11, Jaden Diaz. 5:14 left to go in the first quarter. After that run by Jaden Diaz, it is going to make it 2nd and 7 for the Knights.
Too flustered and take advantage of the opportunity.
Definitely. Once again, a handoff, this time in the pistol formation from Sanchez.
You'll see is how fast they move. They're snap to snap. The time in between those 2 snaps.
Exactly. They have developed that hurry-up offense very effectively. Sanchez hands it off once again in the pistol, but the running back is stuffed just short of a first down.
That hurry-up offense is quickly. You'll get to 4th down before you can even blink, and that's what they're faced with right now with the 4th and 1, 4th and 2 on the 19-yard line.
Exactly, Cameron. But it looks like Scott Valiz is going to go with your own personal philosophy and go for it on this one. Wise choice. Sanchez with 2 receivers out to the right side. He's going to fake the handoff, quick play action pass, which is batted down. That is going to be a turnover on downs, and we'll give it back to the Carlsbad Cavemen almost as quickly as they lost it. Now, that was batted down by number 80, Xavier Ingram, the defensive end who made that nice sack on Sanchez just a couple plays back. He is the 6 foot, 169-pound sophomore. 4:15 left to go in the first quarter. Cavemen 0, Knights 0. Jacob Willis with the pitch out. Actually, Cameron, it looks like they had number 11 right there for the Cavemen. So let me find the number. Caden Smith, as the backup quarterback, was under center, and he actually pitched it out to Jacob Willis. Interesting.
So now I'm officially confused with what's going on here, but I like the play call. If you have multiple talents in your quarterback room, use both of them on the field at the same time.
Definitely, Cameron. Not necessarily just talents, but also I'd like to bring up the physical attributes of these Carlsbad Cavemen. They have a couple players who are actually 6'10", one of them being number 69 for the Cavemen, Jared Rogers. Now with the handoff once again to Jacob Willis, that will move the chains for the Cavemen. Looks like my man's Jacob decided to put on his speed tonight. That kid's pretty fast, Cameron. Very exciting as well. Number 11, he pitches it up to Jacob Willis once again, who's going to toss it downfield to number 4, Molina, who will take it to the 30, to the 20, and will be sat down just short of a Caveman touchdown. Wow, Cameron, what a spark of brilliance from that offense if I've ever seen it.
You know, the nice thing with Jaden Diaz to Jared. Difference here with
Again, a dark brown 4,
of coaching staff here, and it got them inside their opponent's red zone very quickly.
Certainly, Cameron. Now, I really, really like how the head coach for Carlsbad, Bradley, isn't afraid to get down and dirty when it comes to risking his quarterback in order to make some offensive production. You see a lot of times in football, especially at the college level, you're very, very concerned about the safety of your quarterback. But Jake and Willis is, I mean, he really has a lot of physicality, and he likes to take risks for his team. That's
Absolutely.
fantastic.
He's not afraid to get down into the dirt and go to war for his team. And I like that out of a quarterback. A lot of times, quarterbacks will be characterized as guys who don't like to get their jersey dirty. This kid, Willis, is not like that, and that's true leadership for your team right there.
Definitely a role model. Role model if I've ever seen one. 2:19 left to go in the first quarter. Score still tied 0-0. After the pitch, it's going to be 2nd and 5 for Carlsbad. Now, number 11, Caden Smith is going to take it under center with the handoff once again to Jake and Willis, who is going to be stuffed 5 yards short of a touchdown.
6'10" senior, 6'10". You kidding me, Max? In my family, growing to the height of 5'9" is an outstanding accomplishment. 6'10", I can't even fathom that. What a great blocker to have if you're a running back.
Absolutely, Cameron. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to kill it on the courts this winter and spring for the Carlsbad High School basketball team. Now Willis is going to take the ball once again, cuts back through and pushes in to put 6 on the board for the Carlsbad Cavemen. First to strike here on the night, as that will put the Cavemen up 6 over the Knights, who have 0 points with 1:28 left to go in the first quarter.
How about that? And all set up by the creative play call by Coach Bradley and his offensive coordinator. What a great drive. What a great response to the early mishap with the fumble by the Cavemen.
Certainly. I love how they're thinking out of the box here, Cameron. It's fantastic. Now, number 1, Jake Bowen, the wide receiver, running back, and kicker, is going to try and put the PAT through the uprights. And it is very low, but looks like he's going to be successful. Almost botched there. That is going to make the score Cavemen 7, Knights 0 with 1:28 left to go in the first quarter.
So if you think about it, Max, Carlsbad could be seen as the underdogs in this, going into this game. No question about it. There weren't actual betting lines, or at least I hope no one was betting on high school sports. But they could be seen as the underdogs with a big loss to Centennial and to Mayfield being 0-2 in district, and with Onate's hot start in district play. They have totally erased all thoughts of that here in the first quarter with their abilities to stop the Knights on defense, and especially in the red zone that last series, and their ability to move the ball effectively, whether it be through the air with the trick plays or on the ground between the tackles with those big offensive linemen.
Certainly, Cameron. It looks like that bad beating earlier on by the Hawks taught them a good lesson. Now with that, the Onate High School return team is going to come back onto the field here. Number 1, Jake Bowen, once again will be kicking off for Carlsbad. 1:28 left to go in the first quarter. Cavemen up 7 over the Knights, who have 0. Now, Karen, we see this a lot from the Mayfield Trojans as well. It looks like the entire kickoff team sort of congregates into one big jumble, if you will, and then they just sort of fake it and then go back to their initial position.
And I'd really love to talk to the coach. I don't understand the reasoning behind that. There has to be some valid point, because we know that they're not actually going to run it back in that large grouped-up congregation.
Jake Bowen sends the low kick off to the left. Returner is sat down at the Onate High School 32-yard line. That was taken back by number 4, Jared Rico, who is also the kicker for the Knights as well. Left-footed, I might mention.
That's right, and we have 2 wide receivers for each team who are men of many talents, with number 1, Jake Bowen of the Cavemen, acting as the wide receiver, tailback, and kicker, and Jared Rico acting as the wide receiver and kicker as well for his team.
1:24 left to go in the first. Carlsbad 7, Knights 0. Aaron Sanchez is going to take this, and he goes with the quarterback keeper, bombing and weaving his way to an 8-yard gain for the Knights.
One of the things that I think is automatically assumed about Sanchez, just because of his height and the fact that he's a quarterback, is that he can't run. But there are certain times when Sanchez takes off with it on his own, and he produces a great gain for his team.
It's like he's mimicking his counterpart on the other side of the field, Jacob Willis, a bit. Now with the handoff here to the running back number 41. That is going to get a first down and then almost 9 yards for the Knights. That run was courtesy of number 41, Johnny Gutierrez, the sophomore for Onate.
A great response here by Onate. Although they haven't been playing particularly well on defense, their offense has stayed in the game so far, and they've provided a lot of energy to their fans and the rest of the team.
Exactly. Just under a minute left to go in the first quarter. Cavemen 7, Knights 0. Sanchez, 3 receivers out to his right and 1 to his left. 1 man accompanying him in the backfield. Sanchez going to elect to send it out to his running back, Cameron Salas, who is going to push up the field and is going to get a first down on that carry. That was Monroe Young. I'm sorry about that, Cameron. Didn't quite read the number.
Don't worry about it, Max. These Onate jerseys with the silver on black are kind of hard to read from up here in the booth sometimes.
Exactly, but still props to Monroe Young, the very, very talented running back and wide receiver with offers from New Mexico State, UTEP, Air Force, and a couple other universities as well. Sanchez again, the split back formation, takes the handoff to Jaden Diaz and runs with it himself. Solid 6-yard gain on the carry. Possibly 7, actually, Cameron. Clock winding down, 11 seconds left to go in the first. Cavemen 7, Knights 0.
Sanchez straight ahead.
And I think with that, they're just going to go ahead and let the first quarter wind down and take the ball on the opposite side for their next snap to start out the second quarter.
Indeed.
But overall, a pretty good first quarter for the Cavemen, who came into the game as underdogs, as the unquestioned underdogs here with the losses that they've taken to start out their district play. But you have to be happy if you're Coach Bradley and Cavemen supporter with how your team has started out this first quarter.
No doubt about it.
At the end of the first quarter.
Now with that, we are going to bring in color commentator Carr Robinson to replace Cameron. Carr, give me your analysis of the first quarter.
Well, both teams came into this one with the same records. Onate is 2-0 in district and Carlsbad 0-2, but it seemed like a very balanced matchup. But you know, Carlsbad came out and they all the momentum on their side right now, leading it 7-0, and Onate can't really seem to answer that.
Absolutely, Carr. And you know what? I think it's probably one of the most entertaining things that I've seen all year so far. After they were just absolutely slaughtered by CHS last Friday night, they mixed up their quarterback situation, putting in number 11, Caden Smith, for that last offensive drive there, and then put in number 6, Jacob Willis, the QB, as a running back, and put 7 points on the board. Very, very interesting offensive strategy there. Now Aaron Sanchez is going to come out here once again. The shotgun is going to hand it off. Running back, who is going to be stopped short of a first down. Run was courtesy of number 11, Jaden Diaz.
And on this drive, Max, it seems like the Onate offense is doing really good at running the ball after basically they showed nothing in the first quarter. No signs of offensive production, and Aaron Sanchez seems to be leading the Knights on this really successful drive.
Indeed, it's difficult not to when you have fantastic talent like Sanchez on his wheels. As we see right now, he is going to push into the end zone for a Knights touchdown.
You know, it seems like after the first quarter, this is a really big play going in the Knights' direction, and it just seemed like the offensive line seemed to be like on the same page there, and Aaron Sanchez was able to drill that into the end zone.
Exactly. Now, I believe, can't exactly read the minds of the Carlsbad Cavemen linebackers, but I believe they thought the handoff was to Johnny Gutierrez and sort of shifted off to the right side of the field, and then after that opening was made for Sanchez, he just turned on the afterburners and put 6 on the board. Now we have Jared Rico out here making it 7 with the PAT. That is going to make the score 7-7 with 11:27 left to go in the half.
Max, this is a really, really exciting game right now. A lot of ups and downs going for both teams.
Definitely. Now, I'm interested to see, we've seen Brandon Valise, the wide receiver. Haven't seen a lot of Arathron Kio, who played quite a bit in the Gadsden game.
Yes, Max, and for the Onate offense, the Onate offense, we need to see a little bit more of Monroe Young. I mean, he's a really big target for Onate and a really great weapon, and I just feel like the Onate's offense needs to use him a little bit more.
Certainly, and I mean, they seem to be making fine progress in that last drive, but everything helps. Now Rico's going to be back on the field to kick off for the Knights. Once again, 11:27 left to go in the first. Knights 7, Cavemen 7.
It's going to be interesting, Max, to see if Onate's defense can stop Carlsbad's running game, as they've been really productive here tonight.
Definitely. Both of these boys look pretty energized. I wonder if any of them stopped by Rosie's Cafe this morning or for lunch. $11:27 left to go in the first half. Alrighty then, now Jared Rico, the left-footed kicker, out to start things off. Now he is going to send it high and right to the right side of the field. Catches ball by number 1. Now the returner is powering forward and will be pushed out of bounds at just about the Carlsbad 38-yard line. Return courtesy of number 1, Jake Bowen, the wide receiver and kicker for Carlsbad.
Yeah, it's going to be really important for Carlsbad's defense to use their big backs. Jacob Willis is running really well, and Tate Collins is a really big back that they can use to their advantage. But last week they did not seem to pass the ball a lot, and we should see them here pass the ball a lot with a tight game.
Yeah, it certainly wouldn't surprise me. 4 receivers out here as they hand off to Tate Collins once again, although he is going to be stopped with about 3 yards on the carry.
And it looks like the defensive line for Onate they seem to be on the same page, as that was a really good stop. And you can't, for any defense, you can't allow the offense that get big yardage on first down.
Absolutely not, Carr. It certainly wouldn't set a solid tone for the rest of the drive. 10:53 left to go in the first. Knights 7, Cavemen 7. Carlsbad has the ball 2nd and 6 on their own 39-yard line. Jacob Willis takes it once again the shotgun with the handoff to Tate Collins, who's going to turn on the wheels and will get a first down for the Cavemen.
Seems like that Carlsbad offensive line are making some really big gaping holes for Tate Collins to run through and power through.
Definitely. It looks like they've absolutely just improved on all fronts since last week.
Yeah, and Tate Collins was a really big part of Carlsbad's offense last week versus Centennial, and we look to see that for the rest of the game.
Certainly. And with this, Jacob Lewis is going to fake the handoff, play action pass deep out to the left side, and it is going to be nearly intercepted. That kind of looks like offensive pass interference to me, Carl. I'm not quite sure. What do you think?
Well, it just seemed like the ball was uncatchable, and the receiver was just trying to knock the ball down, and it doesn't. I think it was just incidental.
Yeah, I think you're right, Carr. Now, I'd like to give a shout. Sorry about that, Carr. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'd like to give another shout out to our sponsors tonight, Rosie's Cafe, located in the downtown mall across from the post office. They have some great green chili cheeseburgers down there, red enchiladas, biscuits, and gravy. They're open for breakfast and lunch. They have a super friendly staff. And if you go down there and mention that you heard them here at LCPS TV, they will give you a 10% discount. 10-12 left to go in the second quarter.
And 2 plays ago, we saw Jacob Willis take a shot downfield, which is something that we didn't see last week versus Centennial. And one issue last week was he's not very accurate when throwing downfield, even though he has that a really big arm.
Exactly, and I think that's a huge part of the reason why they switched up the offensive scheme, putting in Caden Smith as the starting QB and Jacob Willis as the running back. Perhaps that was just maybe to get his juices flowing and sort of get him into rhythm, because it looks like he's now on it as he sends a quick shot to the left side. Flag out here as he throws into double coverage. The catch was made, though. Number 88 for Carlsbad, Shamar Smith.
And that was really accurate, throwing it on the money there to the receiver.
Now, there was a flag out on the play, Car. We're still trying to hear back from the referees. Now, that is going to be a holding penalty on the Onate High School Knights.
The defense cannot have these mental mistakes. This is just giving Carlsbad more momentum on the drive.
Absolutely, Carr. You can't afford to make those costly penalties. now with that penalty, it's going to move the Carlsbad High School Cavemen up to the Onate High School 25-yard line, where they're going to have the ball 1st and 10 with 9:25 left to go in the half.
Now the Onate's defense is looking for a big play here, maybe even a turnover to turn this game around. It just seems like Carlsbad with all the momentum.
Now Tate Collins breaks through several linebackers, to get the first down for the Cavemen. Now we just got an update. The USA just beat Panama in a World Cup qualifier 4-0. God bless the United States. 9:08 left to go.
Carlsbad offense on that last play, their offensive line gave a big hole for Tate Collins, and he's just powering through the defensive line right now.
Absolutely. Excuse me. Sorry about that. 2 receivers out box stacked here. Jacob Willis is going to take the snap, and with the handoff to number 1, Bowen, he's going to power forward into the end zone. However, I do believe there was a holding penalty on the Cavemen. Let's see what the referees have to say. It is going to be a holding call on the Cavemen, and that's going to move them back.
Man, that would have been a big play for the offense, as they would have gone up 13-7. It just seems to me that Bowen is being a really big producer on the offense. He seems like a really as a speedster on the offense.
Yeah, exactly, Car. And, it always breaks my heart when you see a running back make a fantastic run, but then it's negated by an unfortunate penalty, whether that be a hold or a personal foul, like a face mask. And, it just blatantly sucks when they, your offense is, one aspect of your offense is producing well and the other is making unfortunate mistakes, and that just takes it back. So tough break for Jake Bowen. That's going to make it 1st and 16 at the Onate High School 18-yard line for the Cavemen. Willis is going to take it under center, sends it high and deep to number 23, who is going to make the catch for a Carlsbad Cavemen touchdown.
That was a great...
No, I'm sorry, Car. I didn't mean to cut you off. That was a fantastic catch, though, made over the coverage of number 24, Monroe Young, aided by number 11, Jaden Diaz.
That was a great catch, Max, and what a play calling it to take a shot downfield for the touchdown.
Certainly. That is going to make the score 13-7 Carlsbad with 8:18 left to go. 8:18 left to go.
And that was a very accurate ball by Jake and Willis on the play.
Exactly. Looks like he's gotten his mojo back. Now, with that PAT is going to make the score Cavemen 14, Knights 7 with 8:18 left to go in the half.
I want to see what Onate's offense can do being down 14-7. This has been a very up and down game for both sides, and it seems like all the momentum on Carlsbad's side right now.
Definitely, Carl. It certainly wouldn't surprise me if Scott Valise decides to take the advice you had mentioned earlier and start utilizing Monroe Young more effectively. Now, we just got an update. The Gadsden Panthers are tied with the Centennial Hawks 7-7 in Anthony. Now, like I was saying, Carr, it certainly wouldn't surprise me if Scott Valise decides to utilize your advice and start utilizing Monroe Young more. Although he may not be a fantastic cornerback, as we just saw there, he is definitely more effective on the offensive side.
Well, Monroe Young was on the coverage on that previous touchdown by Carlsbad, so I don't know. I mean, he's kind of – they just need to go to him because he's just a big receiver, and it seems like he's providing a lot of mismatches against the Carlsbad corners.
Definitely. 8:18 left to go in the half. Cavemen 14, Knights 7.
And I would like to see more big plays on special teams. Last or 2 weeks ago when Onate played Gadsden, Monroe Young had that long return for a touchdown that ended the game against Gadsden. So it'd be really nice to just see a couple of big plays on special teams for both sides.
Definitely. Very, very impressive. Jake Bowen, since it's a deep slightly to the left, it's going to bounce and be picked up by the Onate returner as he puts the brakes on, dodges a couple of defensive players, and he's going to be sat down at the Onate High School 25-yard line. Now, Carl, it's interesting that you should mention that kick return by Monroe Young a couple weeks back, because I was actually talking to one of the Onate players about a week back, and apparently that kick return was actually specifically designed so that Monroe Young had all of the defense covering for him. Apparently Scott Valise, told them that whoever gets the ball, hand it off to Monroe, and he'll take care of the rest, and apparently that was so.
Yeah, Max, he's definitely a really big player for this one. Knights offense, definitely he has all those scholarship offers as well.
They are very, very well earned. As Sanchez here in the empty set is going to take the ball with the quarterback run. Powers through for a first down.
And that was a big play by the Knights offense. Their offensive line, they seem to be not on the same page at the start, but now they're kind of kicking it into gear a little bit more.
Exactly. Now, I couldn't necessarily tell if Young has a pair of wheels on him or if it's not. I'm sorry, if Sanchez has a pair of wheels on him, but it kind of almost looked like the linebackers and safeties for Carlsbad were moving in slow motion there.
We haven't really seen on this play Onate handed it off to their running back. We haven't really seen Onate hand it off to any running backs. It seems to be just like the Aaron Sanchez show.
Definitely. Couldn't have said it better myself, Carr. 7:35 left to go in the first half. Cavemen 14, Knights 7. Sanchez is going to send a quick screen pass out to Monroe Young, who dodges a block and is going to turn on the afterburners. He's at the 20-yard line, the 10, and touchdown. Although I believe there will be a block in the back.
Yeah, I was going to say that was some great blocking on that play as Monroe Young's team did.
Yeah, a bit too good, Carr, Maryland.
Yeah, but like I said, Monroe Young is really fast. He's a really big target, and that's a little glimpse of what he can do to a defense.
An unfortunate penalty there from Onate. Now, it was actually a hold, not a block in the back, that was going to negate that OHS touchdown. 7:20 left to go. Carlsbad 14, Knights 7.
Yeah, and that looked like that was about to be a spark, but with that mental mistake on the offensive line, it just seems like it won't be.
Now, with that penalty, it is going to be a repeat of downs and make it it's about over second and 20 now for the Knights. Second and 25 for the Knights. 7:20 left to go in the half. That's just, I mean, I understand that, holds happen and unfortunate mistakes are made, but I mean, to come to that magnitude when you're in a tight game with a district rival, it's just very, very costly, to say the least.
Yes, Max, and being down in this, well, it looks like there's a timeout being called on Onate's side.
Yeah. What were you saying, Carl?
No, I was saying they're deep in their own territory, and right now is an obvious passing situation. They need to look at their big receivers, and I think for Onate's offense, they need a big play. That play was that run by Monroe Young was called back due to the block in the back and everything, and then there was a holding, and they just need everything to go right for them because Carlsbad's offense is looking good right now. Their defense seems to be intact. So they don't want to get themselves in a big hole here.
Oh, for sure. I definitely like to see Sanchez utilize the spread offense more effectively and perhaps take a shot downfield to Brandon Valise. Perhaps he's maybe going to elect to hand off to Monroe again. Perhaps the Carlsbad defense isn't necessarily expecting that. I guess we'll have to see. After this pretty extensive delay, after the hold and the timeout, it's going to be 7:20 left to go in the half. Cavemen 14, Knights 7. I'd like to give another shout out to Rosie's Cafe, one of the best restaurants in Las Cruces, arguably the best. They're serving breakfast and lunch, have some of the best food in town. The Mesa Melt down there is by far one of my favorites.
Look for Monroe Young, wide open.
Oh. Now sends it to Jaden Diaz, who makes the catch.
What a catch, Max.
For a first down, and that is going to catapult the Onate Knights into Carlsbad territory. Number 11 for the Cavemen wants to say that it is incomplete.
Was that Jaden Diaz, Max?
That was Jaden Diaz who made the catch, Carl.
Jaden Diaz, he's another one of those reliable receivers for Onate, for Aaron Sanchez, and it seems like they just trust all their wide receivers. And on that previous play, Monroe Young was wide open. He was waving to the quarterback, but it looked like Aaron Sanchez just took a chance on that play.
Definitely, and you can tell that the connection between Sanchez and his receivers has improved significantly. Not only have
obvious passing play.
Well, apparently not, as Sanchez takes the ball Breaks away from number 11. He's heading up the left side of the field. Breaks a tackle, and
And a
he's in
touchdown.
for an Onate High School touchdown. What a time to be alive, Carr. Dear Lord, I mean, he just absolutely sprinted out of there. First, he breaks the tackle of number 11, Caden Smith, and then he just absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
I'm at a loss for words.
There was really really good blocking on that play, and it seemed like Aaron Sanchez, he brought the Carlsbad defense over to the wrong side, and he just turned on the afterburners, and he was in for the touchdown.
For sure, this offensive scheme has been very, very impressive tonight, in my opinion.
Seems like a shootout here tonight, Max.
Yeah, and you know, Carr, another thing that I'd like to observe is that both of these teams, they're very evenly matched, and they also seem to be utilizing players at different positions and in different situations than they typically are. Sanchez has obviously been serving as more of a QB running back hybrid, and then also with the trickeration with Caden Smith as quarterback and Jacob Willis as running back for Carlsbad. This is made for quite a show here tonight at the Field of Dreams, as Jared Rico is going to look to put in the PAT and tie this game up. And it is good. That will make the score Knights 14, Cavemen 14, with 6:58 left to go in the first half.
Well, both teams are running well offensively. Both defenses seem to be the same during this game. They're both running the ball well offensively, like I just said. But Onate seems to have more of a receiving game going on for them, and Carlsbad seems to be taking shots downfield in the passing game, which we haven't seen. So it's going the same for both teams.
For sure. I was very, very impressed with the physicality of Jaden Diaz on that last play with the catch. He almost, with his speed and athletic ability and, propensity to jump. I'd like to see his vertical, by the way. He almost reminds me of some of the great Ohio State receivers there have been in the past, especially Braxton Miller.
Yes, Max. And right here, Onate kicking it off to Carlsbad. I want to see another special teams play. I want to see a really big special teams play on the Carlsbad side. We haven't seen that. We didn't see that last week.
Definitely, Carr. But you know what I want to see is a big fat green chili cheeseburger, courtesy of Rosie's Cafe at the downtown mall.
Yes, Max, I've been there. They are exceptional.
Carr, there's no doubt about that. Their food is absolutely fantastic. I mean, it just truly encompasses the heart and soul of southern New Mexico. 6:58 left to go in the first quarter. A score all tied up. Knights 14, Cavemen 14. With that kickoff by Jared Rico, the ball is going to be taken back by number 23 for the Cavemen, who is going to shovel forward and be sat down just before the Carlsbad High School 30-yard line. Alrighty then, now the Carlsbad Cavemen offense is going to come back onto the field here, trying to put themselves ahead with 6:50 left to go in the half.
Well, Max, last drive, I would like to see the same from Carlsbad's offense, as they were more of a running team, but they took shots downfield.
For sure. Now Willis with the handoff to take Collins once again is going up the left side, but will be stopped just short of getting even a 2-yard gain.
And that was very good by Onate's defense. They seem to be on top of the play. There is a flag there.
No, it is going to be a holding penalty, if I'm correct. Now, it's actually unsportsmanlike conduct on the Knights. Didn't quite catch the player, though.
Man, that's another mental mistake by Onate's defense.
6:37 left to go in the first half. Cavemen are going to have the ball 1st and 10 at the Onate High School. Let's see where they end up putting the markers down. At the Onate High School 45-yard line after that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for the Knights. You know, I mean, I understand. To a certain degree, even though obviously, any penalty is unacceptable, I understand certain mental mistakes made by holding and things of that nature. But in sportsmanlike conduct, it's ridiculous. You guys are in high school, you're about to go into college, whether or not you play college ball. It's just unacceptable. Now, Jake and Willis with the run here. It's at the 30-yard line, shoveling up the 20 to 10. Touchdown, Cavemen. Dear Lord Almighty. What a pair of wheels on the starting quarterback for Carlsbad High School. I mean, absolutely one of just the most spectacular runners I've seen, not only in high school football, but especially here at the Field of Dreams in the time I've been announcing.
Yeah, and Carlsbad's offensive line is really, really big offensive line. Seemed to make some gaping holes for Jake and Willis as he just sprinted down the field for the touchdown.
And with Jake and Willis putting up 6, Jake and Bowen is going to miss the PAT here. Not quite. I couldn't quite tell if the ball was knocked down or not, but either way, that is going to negate it. And those things can come back and nip you in the butt later on, Carl. They have to be careful.
You know, and Cameron was saying last quarter, Cameron was saying how every offense should go for it on 4th down if they're in the opponent's territory. And I think it's high school, point after attempts. We don't have the best kickers in the world as well as the best punters in the world at the high school level. So I feel like offenses, especially for high school in New Mexico, should go for it too.
Thank you.
Interesting take. Now, I'd like also to give another shout-out to Rosie's Cafe, our sponsor tonight. Great food, great service, and great prices. If you mention that you heard about them here at LCPS TV, they will give you a 10% discount. 6:26 left to go in the half. Cavemen 20, Knights 14. Looks like it's been at the 6-minute mark forever, Carr.
Yes, it has, Max. Both teams have been passing the ball a lot. There haven't been that many run plays, or actually, there have been bigger run plays that have been running the clock down. There haven't been many stops by the defense.
For sure.
I think Monroe Young is set to receive the ball. He's one of the receivers, but the kick is short.
So the kick is short and is going to be returned up the left side of the field, up the middle, I'm sorry. Return will be sat down. That was number 4 for the Onate Knights, Jared Rico, who's typically the kicker actually on the Knights side.
And Aaron Sanchez coming out with Onate's offense. He ran the ball exceptional last drive, as well as Willis. And both quarterbacks in this game have ran the ball really well without help of their offensive line.
Exactly. I mean, both of these offensive cores for the teams are just firing on all cylinders. It looks like the defenses are needing to catch up. Score is Knights 14, Cavemen 20 with 6:21 left to go in the half. Sanchez is going to take the ball. Quick screen pass out to Monroe Young, who jumps up for the catch, but is sat down for a 3-yard gain on the carry. More likely.
Carlsbad's defense seemed to be on that, as there was once Monroe Young caught the ball, there was no room left for him to run.
Certainly looks like they stuffed the pocket pretty efficiently. With that 2-yard gain, it'll make it 2nd and 8. Sanchez set up in the shotgun position with the handoff to number 41 for the Knights, who is stuffed for a gain. Run courtesy of Johnny Gutierrez, the sophomore.
And that was very good by the Carlsbad defense, stopping the run. Both teams, in the first quarter, Onate had that big turnover, but overall, both defenses, including Carlsbad's defense, haven't had any significant plays since then and can't seem to stop Onate's offense.
Sanchez dropping back. Pocket breaking down as he sends a quick pass out. That'll make it a Onate High School 1st down.
And that was another great catch by an Onate receiver. Aaron Sanchez seems to be throwing the ball really well tonight.
And that catch is courtesy of number 5, Brandon Valise, for the Knights. With that, Sanchez, 2 men accompanying him in the backfield, hands it off to the right side, Jaden Diaz, who's going to be stuffed for a loss of yards on the carry.
Onate's offense, they haven't been handing it off to the running back that much. It just seems Aaron Sanchez is running the ball. They have 2 running backs in the backfield right now. In shotgun formation. Let's see how this plays out.
Sanchez drops back in split back formation as running back spread out as receivers. Monroe Young is going to get the PI
And it seems like pass interference on Carlsbad's defense.
That was just absolutely blatant as far as number 11 goes.
Yeah, the
the
Carlsbad
cornerback.
defender was tugging on to Monroe Young's jersey, so he couldn't get the play. It would have been a catchable ball and probably a big play for Onate's offense.
Definitely, you cannot do that. And also, I'd like to give a shout out also to Aaron Sanchez. You can tell that his proficiency as far as the air game goes has improved fantastically since the beginning of the season. Him and Scott Valise, although it was a bit of a rocky start, they seem to be molding well together.
Yeah, they seem to be taking shots down the field, and they're getting a lot of success out of that.
4:45 left to go in the half. Cavemen 20, Knights 14. Onate is going to have the ball 1st and 10 on the Cavemen 37-yard line out of that pass interference penalty. Hand off to Jaden Diaz, who's going to bounce out to the right side, but be stuffed just short of an Onate gain.
And that was very good. Carlsbad's defense seemed to stop that play.
Exactly.
Second down and 10.
Second down and 10 after Jaden Diaz is stuffed on the carry. 4:20 left to go in the first half. Second and 10 for the Knights here. As Sanchez lines up next, number 41, Johnny Gutierrez. 3 receivers out to his left side. He is going to keep the ball. Bounces out to the left. Nice block there, but the Onate front 7. Onate offensive line, sorry, was still not enough for a first down. This will pull up a 3rd and short for the Knights.
And that was tremendous vision by Aaron Sanchez. He being able to cut back in the other direction.
3:50 left to go in the first half. Knights 14, Cavemen 20. Onate has the ball 3rd and 4 at the Carlsbad 37-yard line. 32-yard line, I'm sorry. Sanchez is going to take the ball with the handoff once again, although running back is stopped just short of a first down. This will bring up 4th for the Knights. Once again, courtesy of number 11, Jaden Diaz.
Carlsbad linebackers seem to be stopping the running backs on the play, and they have no answer for Aaron Sanchez.
Definitely. Now 4th and 2 on this run. Onate is going to elect to go for it, as is always the wise decision when you're this deep into your opponent's territory in a high school game. Empty set here, 4 receivers out, sends Jaden Diaz in the motion, fakes it, play action pass out to the left side. Brandon Valise is wide open, and he is going to reel it in for Onate High School touchdown.
What a play, Max, and another example of Onate taking shots down the field. It seemed
2:58 left to go here in the first half. With that catch, it is going to make the score all tied up, 20-20. The Knights looking to put themselves ahead as Jared Rico sets up for the point after.
Aaron Sanchez looks like he has a lot of confidence in his receivers as he takes the shot.
Absolutely. When you have talent like Brandon Valise out there, you certainly should. Jared Rico puts it through the uprights tonight, putting the Knights up 1 point over the Cavemen. Score Onate 21, Carlsbad 20, with 2:58 left to go in the first half. Now, certainly a breakdown in the secondary for Carlsbad. You could kind of tell that the cornerback wasn't necessarily sure whether or not it was a running play or not, so he sort of just slipped for just a second. That allowed Brandon Valise to turn on the afterburners and break away and get wide open to reel that ball in. Put 6 points on the board.
Yes, Max, it was definitely a bust in coverage as Brandon Valise scored on that play. And this is really bothering me. I'm sorry, but Carlsbad failed on the point after attempt, and now they're down 1 point with the quarter winding down. And I don't believe that offenses should go for 2.
Interesting take on that, Carr. We'll see what the Cavemen elect to do later on. So they may or may not have that chance with 2:58 left to go in the first half here. Kicking team out here is Jared Rico once again is going to send it downfield. Carlsbad with 3 men set up behind the 10-yard line, electing set to receive. I'm sorry. Jared Rico is going to send it deep left. as it is taken in, and that actually is going to be a touchback. Ball dropped by number 8 for the Carlsbad return team.
You know, Max, 2 weeks ago we were talking about the kicker Jordan Rico, and he kept sending it back for touchbacks, and that was another example.
Exactly. Fantastic leg strength. I'd be interested to see if he has played soccer in the past, because that kid is very, very strong. 2:58 left to go in the first half. Knights 21, Cavemen 20. 1st and 10 for Carlsbad. As Jakin Willis is out here in the shotgun formation. Fakes the handoff to Tate Owen, and he is off to the right side, but is sacked for a loss of yardage on the carry.
And that was a great play by Onate's defense.
Indeed, you can see that they're putting some massive pressure on the O-line for Carlsbad. And eventually something's got to give, obviously.
They definitely look like they're on page.
Exactly. And, you know, I think that is also it's also due to the fact that they've seen that Jakin Willis is such an effective runner that they're not fooled anymore by the fake handoffs to Tate Collins.
Yeah, look for Willis to take a shot downfield with the quarter winding down.
It's a quick screen pass out to his left side. Number 23, the receivers run 2, pull forward for getting 2 yards on the carry. 2:08 left to go. Clock winding down here at the first half of the Field of Dreams. Knights up 21 over the Cavemen, who have 20 points. Third and looks like it's going to be about 3rd and 7 here for the Cavemen after that run. Now, this district play has been pretty exciting so far, Carr. You know, early on in the season when they were playing, when all the Las Cruces teams were playing teams from up north in the 505, they were getting absolutely destroyed, which upsets me, you know, the deepest pits of my soul, because southern New Mexico is one of the best places on earth.
Yes, Max. But, well, Carlsbad is 0-2 in district. Onate has been very, very good in district, and if they can get a win here tonight, that would set them up very, very well.
Oh, no doubt about it, Carr.
That would put them at the top with Hobbs and Cruces, actually.
It would. Now, even though it would put them on the top numerically, I think there is still a pretty significant difference in skill set. I mean, the Las Cruces High School Bulldogs have a fantastic team this year with running back Chase Kowalopek and starting quarterback Peyton Ball, receiver Ivan Molina. I mean, they are going to put on a show for the rest of this year, and they might even make it back to the state championship. We'll see. Well,
there's a great game tomorrow as Cruces takes on Hobbs, the top 2 in the district.
Yeah, that's right, Carr. I completely forgot about that. And yeah, that is going to be a very, very interesting game. That could decide the fate of our district. 1:37 left to go in the first half. Knights 21, Cavemen 20. 3rd and 7 for Carlsbad on their own 23-yard line. 3 receivers out here for the Cavemen as Jacob Willis is going to take it. Ball back, sends it deep left, and the pass is incomplete. Initially intended for Carlsbad receiver number 23.
And that was really close to pass interference on the Knights defense, as it looked like the cornerback was tugging onto the Cavemen receiver.
I think so, Carr. 1:31 left to go in the first half.
Yeah, I'm surprised that wasn't called.
Yeah, I am actually too. Now this will set up a 4th and 7 for Carlsbad. With 1:31 left. Although it looks like they are electing now. Looks like they're going to punt it. Now I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch the name, but the receiver who was not able to make that catch was number 23, Evan Letta, for the Knights.
And that was an okay punt from Carlsbad, giving Aaron Sanchez and the Knights defense some manageable field position.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, 1:21 left to this. We've seen the potential of the receivers on the Knights side of the ball, and they definitely could strike another 6 in before both players go to the locker room. So we'll see what happens. Secondary for Cavemen is certainly going to have to step it up if they'd like to prevent such.
Now with little time left to go in the second quarter, you want to see Aaron Sanchez throw it deep to one of his trusted receivers.
Definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe not necessarily this one, but the next play is sent out to Jaden Diaz or Brandon Veliz.
Also, you want to look at Monroe Young.
Monroe Young as well. All right, then Sanchez set up here, 3 receivers out to his left side.
Looking
Pocket
deep.
breaks down, sends it deep left, and it is intercepted. Number
Wow.
4 for Carlsbad High School is going to take it back, and he will be sat down battling for yardage and taken at the 50-yard line. Fantastic play by Jordan Molina, the cornerback.
That was just a play that the Carlsbad defense needed, as Aaron Sanchez seemed to throw it into. He didn't have an open receiver play, and it just seemed to be. It was just messed up.
Yeah, definitely. You know, when you have such little time left in the first half, I think it was very, very expected for him to toss a deep ball down there. The cornerbacks are ready for it, and Molina got that fantastic interception on the ball, which is going to give them a chance to score as opposed to their opponents.
Yeah, they
The
have
tides
just
have turned.
they have just enough time to take it downfield.
Now with the handoff here to number 6, Jacob Willis, looks like they're going to be imitating the quarterback running back dynamic, which they had initially gone with to put their first points on the board in the first quarter.
No, if I were Carlsbad, I would try to throw the ball a little bit more. I didn't really agree with that run play.
Yes, now they're going to have the ball 2nd and 4. With the handoff to Tate Collins here, that is going to give them a first down. Although I believe they may be just short.
Timeout, Carlsbad.
All right, 33 seconds left to go here in the first half. Knights 21, Cavemen 20. 33 seconds left to go here for the Cavemen to make something out of nothing. It is going to be a 3rd down. 2nd down.
Well, I don't know. They were running the ball really well. If they want to put points on the board, to me, I would throw the ball.
Yeah, I completely agree, Carl, though they're obviously going to have to be much more careful than Aaron Sanchez was on that deep toss to Monroe Young a couple of plays ago to make sure that an interception isn't brought back. Possibly for a pick 6, since we have Monroe Young out there playing quarterback, and you know how deadly he can be when he starts deep in his own territory.
Yes, Max, he can definitely take it back. He took it back 2 weeks ago against Gadsden with that big play.
Certainly. So just something to keep in mind, obviously, for the Cavemen. As Willis is going to come out here in the empty set. Sends number 23 in
He's
motion.
going to look
Molina
downfield.
sends a quick pass out to number 88, who is going to barrel forward. He reaches the 10-yard line. Touchdown, Cavemen. Wow, what an insanely costly interception right there earlier on for the Onate High School Knights, which actually led to them being down 6 more points as opposed to up.
Yes, Max, and the Cavemen offense had no time to waste. They had to pass it, and that was great blocking by the other receivers for the Cavemen touchdown.
For sure. Got to give big props out there to number 88, Shamar Smith, the wide receiver. Big fella put 6 points on the board. He is also 6'2", which is very, very impressive as well. He got the height on there and was just able to get up and put his hands in.
Now with Onate set to take the ball, I wouldn't be surprised if they just kneeled it and ran the clock out, ready to start the second half.
Yeah, I believe that may be the wise decision, but I mean, we'll see if they try and mix things up a bit here to put themselves on top. And once again, another shout out to our sponsor, Rosie's Cafe. Fantastic food down there in the downtown mall across from the post office. You know, Car, my personal favorite is their biscuits and gravy. What about you?
I'm sorry, Max. I'm going to have to go with the exceptional green chili cheeseburger. It is just the best in New Mexico.
Really, the best in New Mexico? What about? Yeah, all right. The best in New Mexico. I could see that, Car. Fair to say. Either way, fantastic service, great food down there. We really appreciate all that they do and all that they bring to Las Cruces eateries. 23 left to go in the first half. Alrighty then, now Carlsbad is going to be kicking off here with 23 seconds left. It'll be interesting to see what this return is going to bring. I think they may be going for the Monroe Young return as they had with Gadsden a couple weeks back. It's picked up by number 4 for the Knights, Jared Rico, who's going to be sat down just past the 30-yard line with 17 seconds left to go in the first half.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they just kneeled it and ran the clock out.
Yeah. Although they do have a tendency to diversify things, so I also wouldn't be surprised if they took a deep shot downfield. Guess we'll have to see.
Yes, Max, and big plays for the Knights offense. I would look to Monroe Young on the play.
Absolutely. He does seem to be the go-to guy. 17 seconds left in the first half.
He's lined up in the backfield. It doesn't...
He's on the backfield. Is it possible that they're going for a wildcat? Looks like they are, as Monroe Young is going to take it up the right side of the field, burst forward. He is tripped up short of a first down.
Monroe Young on the keeper.
Well, there's 7 seconds left.
Take it down at the 40. Timeout. Nice.
I don't know, 7 seconds left.
Yeah.
It'll be a quick break here.
Exactly. Yeah, I think on this next play, they'll probably just play it safe and kneel it down. Carr, I've personally never been a big fan of the Wildcat formation. What do you think?
Yeah, it just sets a target for the defense. The defense obviously knows that you're going to run unless the receiver is willing to pass it, but that's not necessarily, that usually never happens in the Wildcat formation. So it just makes you one-dimensional on offense.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Carr. Alrighty then, 7 seconds left to go in the first quarter here. As the Onate High School offense is going to come right back onto the field here. See if Aaron Sanchez is going to try and produce something right here. Now, they just walked number 5, Brandon Valise, off to the sideline. Looks like his leg is hurting a bit here. Perhaps he was injured on the last play. Hopefully he's going all right. They are going to go deep to Monroe Young, and it is intercepted. It is intercepted once again.
That was his second interception, Max.
That was number 4's second interception. Very, very impressive work by the cornerback, courtesy of Jordan Molina once again. Now, Carr, I just as we go away for the second half here, I certainly hope Brandon Valise is all right down there. I don't know, you could go either way, and I don't want to, do anything to diss Scott Valise too much, but I think that it was definitely a risk trying to go for the Wildcat run, and obviously it didn't pay off as the first down was not made, and Brandon Valise is taken to the sideline with an apparent leg injury, so very unfortunate once again.
Of course, Max, and going into the half, both offensively, both teams, they're running the ball well. They're throwing down the field. Their wide receivers are playing really well. Both quarterbacks are throwing the ball well, despite Aaron Sanchez throwing 2 interceptions. The defense, even though Onate's defense threw a turnover, the defense, they need to create more turnovers and bigger plays.
Definitely, Carter. We'll be back with you guys at the beginning of the second half as the Onate High School marching band is going to come back on the field to put on a show. See you guys later.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your 178-member Onate High School Royal Knight Regiment. The RKR is under the direction of Sean Silva, Kevin Mormon, and Valentino Leva. Percussion staff, Danny Bidwell and Alberto Barajas. Color guard coach is Hannah Blackford. The Additional staff, Sierra Middle School Band Director Pete Prodruchny and Camino Real Middle School Band Director Brent Zeltz. Marching techs are Stephen Castroreno and Dwight Kentz. Today the RJR will be performing all their competition show titled Wild Things. Daybreak featuring saxophone soloist Sarah Diaz and Mark Cole. Safari, Sunset, and Wild Things. We hope you enjoy RKR's 2017 show, Wild Things. Drummakers, Pete Vogel, Yvette Torres, and Donovan Simmons. Is your band ready? You may take the field for halftime entertainment.
Alrighty then, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second half here at the Field of Dreams, where the Onate Knights are down by 6 to the Carlsbad Cavemen here in Las Cruces. Score is Carlsbad 27, Knights 21. Zane, what are some things that Onate needs to do defensively in order to stop the Cavemen from scoring as much as they have in the first half?
Well, Max, you see both ways. They've allowed those big plays, those quick, like you said before, how that 6 minute looked like it lasted forever. That's because they allowed so many big plays on both sides. So I definitely agree with the fact that they've allowed too many big plays. So definitely cut down on those and recover on them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Onate has also been able to put 3 solid touchdowns on the board, courtesy of some fantastic talent that they have, both on the run game, also courtesy of their starting quarterback, Aaron Sanchez, who's turned on the afterburners tonight. But then they have some just truly, truly talented receivers, Monroe Young, number 24, Jaden Diaz, number 11, and Brandon Valiz. So I think that a big part of Carlsbad's strategy in the third quarter needs to be improving their secondary.
That's right, Max. And Aaron Sanchez looks really poised in the pocket tonight. He's making those beautiful throws, and it's just incredible to watch. He also has turned on the Jets and running with 2 touchdowns.
Exactly. Now, one of the most exciting things that I saw out of both Carlsbad all season and just out of high school football all season was the fact that the offensive strategy for Carlsbad was sort of flipped on its head. What they did was they brought in backup quarterback Caden Smith a little bit into the first quarter to actually be the starting quarterback, and then they switched over typical starting quarterback Jaken Willis to a running back formation, and we're just pitching it off to him left and right, which resulted in a touchdown.
And he's definitely one of the top things we commented on last week during the Centennial and Carlsbad game was that Jaken Willis can run. He is incredible to watch, and he's definitely showing it here tonight again.
Definitely some impressive trickery. That's one of the things that I love about a high school and sometimes college football is the fact that their players wear a multitude of hats, and they're not afraid to get down and dirty. You see in the NFL, they're playing these guys several $1 million a year, and they're always so scared that, oh, our quarterback's going to get hurt. But, you know, I mean, at the high school and college levels, although that is always a concern, they still are willing to take risks, which obviously have been resulting in some offensive proficiency tonight.
That's right.
Now we're just getting started off with the second half here, at the Field of Dreams. Carlsbad is going to be receiving here tonight since they kicked off initially. And it'll be interesting to see whether or not Caden Smith is going to be at the QB position or Jaken Willis. Now, we'd like to give another shout-out to Rosie's Cafe, our sponsor tonight. They have some great food down there. Green chili cheeseburger is fantastic. Red enchilada is very spicy. Biscuits in the gravy give you a bit of taste of Southern style. And then they are serving breakfast and lunch. And if you mention that you heard of them here at LCPS TV, they're at the downtown mall across from the post office, you will be receiving a 10% discount. You ever been down to Rosie's Cafe, Zane?
I have, and might I say, they are incredible.
Absolutely. I like that little Southern accent there. Now we're going to get the second half started down here. Jared Rico sends it deep left, and this will be returned by number 4 for Carlsbad. He's going off the left side of the field. Number 1, Jake Bowen for the Cavemen. Now Jake Bowen is going to take it up to the 37-yard line for the Carlsbad Cavemen. Now we'll put them 1st and 10 with 11:54 left to go in the third quarter.
Nice ability by Jake Bowen to read those lanes and go and have a great game there.
Absolutely. And we've talked a lot throughout this game about players wearing many hats. Jake Bowen seems to be the king of that. He is a kicker, a wide receiver, a kick returner, and a running back. Alrighty then. Now it looks like Jaken Willis is going to start under center. Fakes here, gives the handoff right there to Jake Bowen, who's going up the right side of the field, and will get a solid gain of 3 yards on the carry for the Cavemen. That'll bring up 2nd and 7 for Carlsbad with 11:40 left to go in the third quarter.
Now throughout this game, Max, they've been Carlsbad have definitely been given some weird reads. They've had a lot of men in the backfield tonight, and it just looks like they've been doing a lot of runs.
Certainly. Well, it seems like the more that they can diversify their backfield situation and confuse the Onate High School front seven, the better. With the handoff right here to Tate Collins, he makes a nice juke and gets ahead for a gain of 2 yards on the carry, possibly 3.
Now we know they like to run a lot, but as long as it works and you're able to get those short yardages and then allow it to have a third and manageable, it definitely helps. So if that helps, then why not just keep doing it?
Definitely. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Zane.
That's right.
10:52 left to go in the third quarter. Cavemen have the ball. 27 points over the Knights, who have 21. 3rd and 3 after the run there. Jacob Willis set up, takes the handoff, design quarterback run, plays a spin move, a double spin move, goes up to the left side of the field, takes the ball, turns in the afterburner, he's at the 40, he's at the 30-yard line. He will be pushed out at the
Wow.
25-yard line. What a guy.
That was incredible. And like we said before, Jacob Willis is definitely one of the most athletic running backs or quarterbacks that I've seen.
No doubt. And, you know, I can see getting him confused with a running back, Zan, because, I mean, his legs are incredible. He absolutely has the propensity to, you know, possibly play his college ball as a running back. We'll see.
Another big thing is that he's able to throw the ball as well. Maybe not as accurate that you've seen with other high school quarterbacks, but he can do all of it.
Definitely. 10:17 left to go in the third quarter. Cavemen 27, Knights 21. Jacob Willis takes down the 1st and 10, sends a quick pass out the left side, but it is unfortunately missed. Initially intended for the receiver, number 88. Alrighty then, 10:10 left to go in the third quarter here. After the missed pass, it is going to set up 2nd and 10 for Carlsbad at the Onate High School 26-yard line. Now, I'd just like to clarify that pass was missed by number 88, Shamar Smith, the wide receiver, who actually happens to be 6'10", a 6'10" sophomore. Very interesting. And we just got an update from Anthony. At the start of the third quarter, Centennial High School leads the Gadsden Panthers 21-7.
Now, Max, both halves of this game, Carlsbad have come out strong, and that's something we did not see last week. So it's very impressive for them to do that in this game.
Definitely, like I said, I think that tough beating by the CHS Hawks, who are currently up by a margin of 14 points over the Gadsden Panthers, definitely instilled in them the resolve to come out strong tonight, and it's being demonstrated by their 6-point lead over Onate, who is 2-0 in the district, while Carlsbad is 0-2. Now, timeout called by the Cavemen here. 9:28 left to go in the third quarter.
Now, a 3rd and 9 here for Carlsbad. You'd like to see a pass, but, you know, you'd expect a run here since it's working for them all game.
Yeah, absolutely, Zane. I mean, you know, you don't necessarily have to take shots all the time on 3rd and long, although typically it's the wisest thing to do. But if you feel confident in your players' abilities to run, then go for it. No doubt about it. And, you know, it doesn't always have to be either or. You could definitely send out a screen pass or something of that nature.
Exactly.
Backwards lateral, maybe. It all depends. Alrighty, then the Onate High School defense is going to come back out here on the field.
You know, even if they don't get this, you'd hope they'd like to see a 4th and manageable, because you expect they go for it because they have done it the past few games.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, if there's one thing this Carlsbad offense has shown me, it's that they're very, very unpredictable here. Jake Willis is set up in the pistol. Flag out on the play. I believe it's going to be a false start on the Cavemen.
False start, Carlsbad.
And with that is going to move Carlsbad back 5 yards. Repeat of the third. Making it 3rd and 14 here for the Cavemen. Yeah, it looks like they're definitely going to have to throw it on this end, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely a rough spot there to get that false start on 3rd and already a 3rd and long.
Yeah, for sure. Carlsbad 27, Knights 21. 3rd and 14 now as Jake and Willis is set up once again in the pistol. Takes it, fakes the handoff, design quarterback run. He'll take it up the left side of the field. Looks like he's only about 5 yards short of the 1st down. Looks like I was wrong, Zane, decided to go for it. But you know what? We've been talking about this all night, that it's much, much, much more simple and easy to go for it on 4th down and pick up another 1st in high school than it is at the upper levels. So, you know, pretty smart play in my opinion.
I don't think I've seen Carlsbad kick a field goal at all this season.
I don't think I have either. We've only seen one of their games before, but I mean, you know, they certainly seem to be very confident in themselves offensively, and they have reason to.
That's right.
Now Willis rolling out to the right side of the field is going to cut back in here.
Another flag there.
There's going to be a flag, and it is going to be a hold on Carlsbad.
Flag is the play. Hold Carlsbad.
Now, just as Jake and Willis was attempting to make something out of nothing after they were 3rd and 14, that's going to send them back again as it will set up a 4th down situation.
It's like they will punt this time.
First and 10. Nice.
Yeah, I believe so. I guess we'll have to find out. 8:44 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Carlsbad 27, Knights 21.
Now last week we saw they did kind of like looks like they were going for it on 4th down, but then they ended up punting it very short. So let's see how that goes here, if they do that.
Aaron Sanchez coming out here in the empty set. 3 receivers out to his left side. 2
Oh,
out to
never mind.
his right.
Onate has the ball.
Onate does have the balls. It's a turnover on down.
That's right. I didn't.
That's okay, no problem. Now, I believe that is actually Monroe Young in the Wildcat once again. He's going to go up the left side of the field, gets a gain of 8 yards on the carry. And he'll be sat down at the OHS 30-yard line. Wow, what an impressive athlete right there, Zane. I mean, all around. And they're going to be doing the same thing once again. Never been a big fan of the Wildcat formation, but Monroe Young certainly seems to own it. As he gets a 1st down and change on that run. Looks like he may have stepped out of bounds. We'll see what the refs say. But apparently they're going to set it at the OHS 48-yard line, 1st and 10 Knights.
They're switching it up here from definitely a passing. They kind of did a lot of passing in the first half, but now they're kind of switching up and utilizing Monroe's young athleticism.
For sure, some very, very fancy footwork, which is going to come in handy when he goes into college, because when you, I mean, of course, you know, obviously in college when you make a catch or whatever, you only have to get 1 foot down. But still, I mean, it's certainly something that skill set is certainly something that scouts look for.
Yeah, and that last play, Carlsbad's front, definitely reading that as soon as the play was hiked, they stopped Monroe Young there on that short screen, and nothing, a loss of yards there.
It's going to take him back 4 yards. 3 yards as we'll set up a 2nd and 13 with 7:28 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Carlsbad 27, Knights 21. Now Aaron Sanchez with the quarterback keeper goes up the middle of the field and is going to be stopped just about 10 yards short of the 1st down. Just going to set up a 3rd and 10 for the OHS Knights.
Sanchez on the keeper.
All around, pretty fantastic ground game tonight for the Knights. Now now this impressive ground game, as I should mention, kind of brings back memories of them last year. They had Sal Yanez and Matthew Young taking handoffs and were absolutely deadly.
That's right.
When it came to the trenches.
And almost 3 picks right there for Aaron Sanchez, but just dropped by number 12 for Carlsbad.
Now we don't have number 12's number for Carlsbad, but nearly caught the Aaron Sanchez interception there, as it will set up a 4th and 9 for the Knights. Now it looks like Sanchez is going to elect to go for it. Drops back in the pocket, sends a quick one right side, and the receiver is going to drop the ball in double coverage there. Tackled by number 22, Mason Box.
Now he's done that a few times these last few throws he's done deep, and he's thrown into double coverage. Not sure what he was thinking there, but almost another interception for him.
Yeah, for sure. Now it's going to be a turnover on downs. Jaden Diaz failed to make the grab there.
That's a great job by Onate. Did it, turnover on downs to get the ball back, and now Carlsbad to overcome that and get the ball back here.
Definitely a very evenly matched game. Probably the most exciting that I've seen as of yet this year on the Field of Dreams, as Jacob Willis sends the quick screen out to the left side receiver, who is stuffed for a gain of perhaps 1 yard on the carry. Courtesy of number 23 for the Carlsbad Cavemen, Evan Lara.
Number 2, Tate Collins, just missed that block to allow them to get a few more yardage on that screen pass.
Absolutely. 6:23 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Seems to be going a lot faster than the second. Cavemen up 27 over the Knights. 2nd down and 10 for Carlsbad. Jake and Willis with 3 men with him in the backfield. shifts Jake Bowen out to the right side, but actually ends up handing it off here to Tate Collins, who's going to power forward for a gain of 3 yards on the carry.
Tate Collins on the carry.
Now, they haven't been necessarily utilizing Tate Collins as much, just by virtue of the fact that starting quarterback Jaken Willis has sort of emerged as more of a running dual threat tonight. But definitely have to give Tate Collins props. Very, very physical back. Now, with that gain by Collins, it will set up 3rd and 7 for the Cavemen on the Onate High School 46-yard line. We'll see if they elect to send a pass or perhaps just stick to the ground. It could be either or. Jacob Willis takes it under center and pitches it off number 2, Tate Collins, once again, who will be stopped just 1 yard short of a first down, perhaps even inches.
They're definitely looking more predictable here. Just keep running the ball. And in the first half, they passed a lot more than we've seen them before. And I don't know why they're not passing here.
Yeah, well, I think they just found out what works for them. Obviously, sticking to the ground game and utilizing all of their talent is putting up some very, very efficient offensive plays. So they broke down fix it as the handoff to Tate Collins proves once again for a Carlsbad first down. 4:46 left to go in the third quarter. Cavemen 27, Knights 21. With that carry, it's going to give Carlsbad a 1st and 10 on the OHS 44-yard line.
Yeah, but you're all right. If they keep running it, and again, like I said before, trying to making it a 4th and manageable, which they have been trying to use a lot, and it helped them there.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, that was the OHS 36-yard line. My apologies. All right, then box is stacked here. Looks like they're expecting the left side run, which is correct. Jaken Willis takes it, and it's stuffed for a gain of 3 yards. Yeah, pretty obvious play there for the Cavemen. You can tell that the Onate High School linebackers were already shifting to the left side of the field. Now, the ATs are still exercising Brandon Valise, the wide receiver, on the sideline. He was hurt on a wildcat play where Monroe Young took the ball in the first half, and doesn't look like he's going to be making an appearance again on the field tonight. Very unfortunate, Zay.
That's right. And definitely, as he's exercising himself, he definitely looks in pain there.
Yeah, fair to say. Hopefully Valise will be all right, as we have 30 left to go in the third quarter. Cavemen 27, Knights 21.
3rd and manageable here. Let's see what they do.
You know, Zane, I think I'd bet all the money in my left pocket that they're going to go for a run on this play.
I do too, Max.
There's no money in my left pocket, but I think that still carries some weight. Jacob Willis takes it under center once again with the pitch out to, I believe that was Jaken Willis who the pitch was out to. There's going to be a holding call. Looks like they put number 11, Caden Smith, in there as quarterback. Now, there was a holding call on the Cavemen, and that is going to set them back 5 yards. 10 yards, I'm sorry. The Cavemen are switching the quarterback position so fluidly and doing it so well that I can barely tell the difference between who's running and who's taking the snap. .303 left to go in the third quarter. Cavemen 27, Knights 21. Once again, another shout out to our sponsor, Rosie's Cafe. Makes some fantastic food in the downtown mall across from the post office. Got the green chili cheeseburger, red enchiladas, biscuits and gravy, and many more.
It was a fake run pass to Jaken Willis, and it looks like he was just short, but an interesting call there.
Indeed. Now we're getting another update from the Centennial Gadsden game. After another Centennial touchdown in PAT, that makes it Hawks 28, Panthers 7, with 6:10 left to go in the third quarter. 2:52 left to go in the third quarter here at the Field of Dreams. Cavemen 27, Knights 21. Looks like the Cavemen are electing to go for it on 4th and 1, as anticipated. Been a very fast-paced quarter, primarily because it's been pretty ground-oriented here with the handoff by Jaken Willis.
Another 4th down converted. That's a great job by Carlsbad.
Exactly. Now, Jaken Willis is going to take it and put up another 4 downs for Carlsbad. It's going to be 1st and 10. Yeah, you know, Zane, I mean, Jake and Willis, we saw him getting a couple runs last week when you and I were commentating the Centennial game, but I mean, he looks like a completely new guy down there on the field. He's a leader, he's extremely athletic, and he's leading not necessarily just by virtue of the fact that he's quarterback, but by example too, getting down and dirty in the trenches and making plays. And there's a flag out, once again, false start on the Carlsbad Cavemen. Quite a few flags out for the Cavemen, not just in these past successive plays, but throughout the course of the game. It'll be interesting to see the stats later on.
Yeah. And like you said before, they're starting to use Jake and Willis as a running back now. You've seen it this drive. They've used Caden Smith as their quarterback and just handing it off to Jake and Willis.
Exactly. Cavemen 27, Knights 21. Clock winding down. 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter. After that false start, it is going to be 1st and 15, Cavemen. Smith is going to hand it off to Willis, who's going to take it up the right side of the field. Dodges Monroe Young, puts it in the end zone for another Carlsbad Cavemen touchdown.
How incredible is that? He is just showing that he can lead this team and get those touchdowns both through the air and on the ground.
Absolutely spectacular. That kid can pull out a juke, Zane. I mean, absolutely breaking ankles left and right as he puts 6 on the board, making the score Cavemen 33, Knights 21 with 1:46 left to go in the third quarter. Alrighty then, now. I believe they're going for 2 on the play.
Looks like
Over there
false
are going to be flags out here. False start. Now, Carr mentioned earlier that he thinks it would be rather advantageous for them to go to 2 since they had missed the PAT earlier on.
Yeah. But that false start definitely probably changed it, and now that they're probably going to kick it here.
Yeah, I guess we're going to see. Well, they still may. They have a very, very fantastic running back score, and they are still going to go for 2. Caden Smith taking it, fakes the handoff. Play action pass out deep, and it is going to be out of bounds. Incidental contact right there is the receiver, but no PI. That is going to negate the 2-point conversion and is going to make it Cavemen 33, Knights 21. We'll keep it, I should say, with 1:46 left to go in the third quarter. Alrighty then. Looks like OHS is going to get another shot at offense facing a 12-point deficit.
Great job here by Carlsbad coming into this game as the underdog and controlling this third quarter.
Definitely. I'm going to call it right now. First play of the OHS drive, quarterback keeper by Aaron Sanchez.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there.
Well, of course. I'm always right. 1:46 left to go in the third quarter.
Questionable there.
Yeah, we'll see about that. SEC fans.
All right.
Alrighty then, Carlsbad getting set to kick off here. Jake Bowen is going to send it out as the Knights are set to return. Once again, another shout out to Rosie's Cafe. If you get hungry later on after this match is done tomorrow morning, make sure to hit them up in the downtown mall. They have some fantastic food down there. I think my personal favorite is probably the Messia melt. 1:46 left to go in the third quarter. I didn't quite catch that. Did the ball bounce out of bounds? The ball did bounce out of bounds.
Yeah, it was too
no, I'm
busy.
sorry, it was taken back, and it is going to be 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line for the Knights.
Yeah, Max, I was too busy thinking about how great Rosie's Cafe is.
Absolutely, Zane. I mean, their food is spectacular, and I don't think I've ever been down there where their service wasn't exceptional. I mean, waiters and cashiers, just great. Love it. 1st and 10 here for the Knights. 1:46 left to go in the third quarter. Aaron Sanchez set up here in the shotgun. 3 receivers out to his left and 1 to his right. Sends a quick pass up high. And that is going to be a gain of 5 yards for the receiver. I believe it was Jaden Diaz. Let's see him stand up. And it was actually Jared Rico there on the high catch.
Nice job there by Jared Rico to go up there and snag that.
Indeed. I'd like to see all the verticals on these Onate receivers because they can jump.
Indeed.
All right, now with Aaron Sanchez in the quarterback keeper, looks like I was just a one play late there on my initial prediction, but he is going to get the first down. And that will give Onate another 4 chances to work with 114 left to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, his height and his athleticism definitely allows him to run the ball almost as well as Jake and Willis.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's absolutely just adapted, molded with this spread offense and made it his own. As he sends a quick pass, just let's say that he sends a quick pass out to Jared Rico, which is bubbled out of his hands for an incomplete pass. Although that was not necessarily due to Aaron Sanchez's inconsistency, but more just to Rico's butterfingers. 58 left to go in the third quarter. Cavemen 33, Knights 21. OHS has the ball. 2nd and 10 on their own 48-yard line. Sanchez, one man accompanying him in the backfield, drops back, pressure, sends it out left to Monroe Young, who's going to make the catch, turns around and gets the first down. That is going to put them within 40 yards of the Carlsbad end zone.
Pass is complete to Monroe Young.
Nice pass there by Aaron Sanchez there.
Definitely very, very accurate as of late. All right, then now Sanchez once again taking the shotgun. 3 receivers out to his right side. Pocket breaks down. He gets one out real quick. And the receiver is going to put on the brakes. Dodges a defender and gets the first down. Jared Rico once again on the play.
Jared Rico, 1st and 10.
Jared Rico, another jack of all trades that we've seen tonight for both of these teams.
Indeed.
Clock winding down, 30 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Onate is going to try and get one more snap off, possibly 2 before the end. Aaron Sanchez with the quarterback keeper goes out the left side. He's at the 10-yard line, busts through, and he is stopped nearly short of an OHS touchdown. I mean, it has absolutely just been Sanchez versus Willis. I mean, both of these kids are fantastic at leading their offense. And, you know, on the last Carlsbad game, we saw it was more one-sided as Lance Frost was just absolutely pounding the ball into the Cavemen end zone on a consistent basis. Now Sanchez gets the snap off real quick, hands it off to Jaden Diaz before the end of the quarter. Touchdown Onate as Jaden Diaz slides into the right side of the field, puts another 6 on the board, making the score. Cavemen 33, Knights 27.
Now this is
just as the fourth quarter is about to start off.
This is definitely going to be an interesting fourth quarter, and it'll be filled with some high-powered offense.
Definitely. Alrighty then, now with the end of the third quarter, we're going to bring back in color commentator Cameron Castillo.
Howdy, Max. How you doing?
Pretty good. I think I'd be doing better if I had some food from Rosie's Cafe right about now, Cameron.
Absolutely. I feel you. That is a great place.
Definitely. Now Jared Rico is going to put that ball through the uprights, making the score. Cavemen 33, Knights 28, just as the fourth quarter is about to start us off. Alrighty then, facing a 5-point deficit, the Onate defense has to come in clutch, Cameron.
What a game this has been so far. I don't know about you, Max, but I wasn't expecting this to be a tight one going into the fourth quarter. I think Carlsbad came out of the gates a couple hours ago with a lot to prove for themselves and for the rest of the district, and they have done a great job of that so far tonight. They've been able to keep it up on the ground game with Jake and Willis, although Onate has been able to respond constantly, which you like to see if you're Coach Veliz and his coaching staff, to see that your team can stay in the fight despite being down at sometimes up to 13 points.
Oh, absolutely. This entire matchup has been very, very offensively oriented, Cameron. Both of these teams are very good at trickeration. I mean, you know, you have the mix-up that matchup I keep mentioning with Caden Smith coming in as quarterback for Carlsbad, the backup, and putting number 6, Jake and Willis, as as running back, and then just, you know, the Wildcats for OHS. So we're going to see how this turns out as Jared Rico is lined up to kick off for Onate. getting the fourth quarter started off here at the Field of Dreams. Cavemen 33, Knights 28. Carlsbad, 3 men set up behind the 10-yard line ready to receive this kickoff. Alrighty then, now Rico is going to send it deep in the middle, and it is going to be bobbled, and that will set up a touchback for Carlsbad. Looks like Jacob Willis is going to come out here, and he will have the ball 1st and 10 from his own 20-yard line.
If you're Coach Bradley for the Cavemen, Max, and you have such a talented arsenal of weapons on your offensive, especially in the offensive backfield, some people might see that as a problem, but I look at it as what a great problem to have for your football team when you have guys like Jake and Willis and Jake Bowen and even capable backups like number 11, Caden Smith. It's working well for their offense, and Coach Bradley knows exactly how to utilize that talent to the best of its abilities.
Oh, exactly. Now the box is pretty stacked here as Jake and Willis is going to hand off to Tate Collins here as he is stuffed for a gain of possibly 2 yards on the carry. Now, Karen, I tell you what I can't wait to see here is when Monroe Young graduates and hopefully goes to New Mexico State University and contributes to the Aggies football team.
Max, personally, I would love to see this kid in our maroon and white, not crimson, it's maroon in my opinion. He would ball out for our New Mexico State Aggies, especially against in-state rivals UNM, or the in-state rival UNM, or UTEP across the river in Texas. It'd be great if he could join his brother, too, Matt, who's going to be an outstanding player for the Aggies.
Definitely carry on the legacy as his father also played at MSU. Now with that, it looks like it's going to be a horse collar there for the penalty.
Anytime, Max, a player grabs an opposing player by the top of the jersey on the backside, they're going to call a horse collar, and rightfully so. You cannot let players on the football field get into the habit of making those tackles because they can have horrible detrimental effects to the player's knees or lower legs, and we don't want to see any of that happen.
Exactly. We want to keep our players safe, Cameron. With 11:15 left to go in the game, Cavemen 33, Knights 28. Carlsbad has the ball 2nd and 2, sorry. After that horse collar. 2nd and 3. After that, a horse collar by the Onate Knights. Box stacked once again, and Jake and Willis is going to have the handoff to Tate Collins, who's going to scramble forward for a Cavemen 1st down.
What great production they've had on the ground all night long, Max. We did see their one trick pass play in the first quarter, but aside from that, they've been able to run the ball effectively. And although it does seem that they're one-dimensional, if your one dimension works and the defense hasn't found a way to stop it, then why stop yourself?
Exactly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. 10:43 left to go in the game here. Box stacked once again as Jake and Willis is going to hand it off to Tate Collins, who's going to power forward up the A-gap, and we'll get 3 yards on the carry.
Yeah, and one of the things that I noticed while Zane and Carr were filling my role as the color commentator was that the lead blockers for Carlsbad, no matter who the player was, whether it be a left guard, right guard, or a fullback in the backfield, the lead blockers are doing an amazing job, and they're the main reason why the running backs have had such a clear path in the backfield so far tonight.
For sure, Cameron. I mean, although we do want to give a huge amount of credit to quarterbacks Jake and Willis, Caden Smith, and running back Tate Collins, you also have to give those big fellas some credit for making opportunities take place. So we flag on the play. I believe it may have been holding against Onate. Let's see what the penalty, what the ref said.
They might get holding on Carlsbad, actually, Max, and that is what it was. And that's one of the negatives to an offense that is going to focus solely on running the ball. Oftentimes, you're going to get called for holding penalties or things like blocks in the back. You want to try and stay away from those, obviously, as much as possible when you're going to run the ball so frequently.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like Carlsbad has had their fair share of this line, although their offense has been producing fantastically. There have also been some great runs which have been negated due to unfortunate mistakes. 9:46 left to go in the game. Cavemen 33, Knights 28. Seconds and quite a bit. Let's see what the 2nd and 18 now for the Cavemen after that hold. 25-yard line. Alrighty then, now Jake and Willis is going to be out here on the field. right under center. I believe that is Jaden Smith, actually. He's going to take the ball, play action pass, pressure, and he is nearly sacked. Actually sends a quick out to Jake and Willis, although the pass was incomplete.
Although it was incomplete there, Max, I thought that was an excellent play by number 11, the backup quarterback, Caden Smith. He stuck with it in the pocket for as long as he could, and he waited for that check down receiver to appear so he could avoid the sack, which would have netted a loss of about 5 more yards instead of 3rd and 23, and it leaves him at 3rd and 18, which is slightly more manageable than a 3rd and 23 or 24.
Exactly, Cameron. Every little bit helps, and you got to stay on your toes. 9:18 left to go in the game. 3rd and 18 after the incomplete pass. Now the snap is bobbled here, and it is going to be recovered by the Onate High School Knights. And they're going to have the ball deep into the Carlsbad Cavemen red zone. The tides have turned here.
What a play. Way to keep your head on a swivel for the Knights defender on that play. Those are the game-defining plays that speak to the quality of a football team. When it gets down to the 4th quarter and it becomes crunch time, you have to be able to make those kinds of plays and give the ball back to your offense, and that defender did that.
Absolutely. Now, if I'm Aaron Sanchez in this situation, since I have struggled a bit beforehand with interceptions and making some passes into tight coverage, I'm going to say run as much as you can, as much as you possibly can on this drive here.
Absolutely, Max, and a quick scoring update from Anthony, New Mexico. Towards the end of the 3rd quarter, the Centennial Hawks are up on the Gadsden Panthers 35-7.
Sanchez with the handoff to Monroe Young. He's going to cut through for an Onate High School touchdown on the first play of their drive after the fumble recovery. That is going to make the score Cavemen 33, Knights 34, with 9:08 left to go in the game. It just got much more interesting.
What a response. What a way to punch it into the end zone right after the fumble recovery by your defense. That is quality football on both sides of the ball, and Coach Release has to be very happy with the play of his team.
Absolutely, I'm sure he is, Cameron. Now Jerry Rico's going to come out here and try and put the PAT through the uprights to make it a 2-point lead for OHS with 9:08 left to go in the game. It looks like they're actually going to go for 2 here. Aaron Sanchez rolling out to the right side. Sends a quick pass that is intercepted in the end zone. Actually, it's just going to be incomplete there, and it is going to negate the 2-point conversion. That'll keep the score at Cavemen 33, Knights 34 with 9:08 left to go in the
So
game.
remember that play right there might end up being very significant within the next 30 minutes because it prevented the Knights from going up by a 3-point margin, which would have required the Cavemen to kick a field goal to send this game into overtime. Now it's only a 1-point game. So any way that the Cavemen score within the next 9 minutes and 8 seconds of the game could give them the advantage and ultimately the win.
Absolutely, Cameron. Interesting thing to keep in mind. Now, as far as interesting things go, we'd like to give another shout out to Rosie's Cafe. Great food, great service, and great prices down there in the downtown mall across from the post office. Cameron, what's your favorite cuisine from Rosie's Cafe?
Max, and you had it the last time that we all went there after school. Is it the Messia Melt, I believe?
I believe that is.
That is amazing, and I'll tell you what, it's in a great location, too, down there on the downtown mall. A beautiful area that they've revamped within the last couple of years. I love going down there with family and friends as often as I can.
Certainly, and you all should watching, too. If you mention that you heard them here at LCPS TV, you will get a 10% discount on your order. 9:08 left to go in the game here. Cavemen 33, Knights 34. Jared Rico set to kick off for OHS as he's going to send it high and deep to the right side. Nearly a touchback, and it is dropped by the returner. He is going to break some ankles. Jake Bowen is going to be sat down. There's going to be a flag out on the play. Cameron, you believe it is a horse collar?
I believe it was a horse collar, absolutely, all the way. We'll see what the call is. Our spotter in here believes that it was an unsportsmanlike conduct. We'll see. That could be very important here because right now the Cavemen have the ball set up at the 9-yard line. And it is a personal foul on the Knights with the horse collar. So that's going to move the ball an extra 15 yards and give the Panthers the ball on the 24-yard line, which is much better than the original field position that they would have had without the penalty.
Exactly, Cameron is going to give the Cavemen some pretty good position here, which initially turned out was nearly a disaster after the return of Jake Bowen bobbled the ball. 8:59 left to go in the game. Knights 34, Cavemen 33. Carlsbad is going to have it. First and 10 on their own 24-yard line after the horse collar by Onate. Okay, then let's see here what the offensive setup is going to be. I see Jake and Willis is going to take it from under center. He has 3 men with him in the backfield. He elects to hand it off to Tate Collins, who's going to shovel forward for a gain of 2 yards on the carry.
Max, if you're the Cavemen on this drive with 8 minutes and 45 seconds left in the game, down by 1, you have to run the ball. It's worked for you all night long. Don't try anything that hasn't proven effective thus far tonight. Keep running the ball, and hopefully, if you're a Cavemen fan, by the time the clock starts winding down in this game, you'll be in prime scoring position.
Absolutely, Cameron. You punched into the end zone, and even if there still is some time left for Onate to score, their defensive backs have been tremendous so far, and hopefully if you're a Caveman fan, like you said, they will continue to do so if that situation is brought up.
So here we have, they're going to be set up with a 3rd and 2 on about the 34, 33-yard line. That's manageable, Max, with the way that they've been running the ball outside the tackles and inside the tackles. They can certainly do that, and I think it's great planning by Coach Bradley. You don't have to get a first down on every play, especially when part of your motivation needs to be to run the clock out here in the 4th quarter.
For sure, Cameron. Well, it certainly won't surprise me. Let's see, I think they are going to punch a first down here. Now with the handoff to Jake Bowen, he is going to barrel roll. There is a flag out in the backfield. It is going to be a false start on the Cavemen, just as they had a couple fantastic runs. That will be negated, and it's going to be a repeat of 3rd down. This time it will be 3rd and 6.
Now those mistakes, Max, that is what could mess up your late game plan right there. And that start looked false to me a mile away. You can't be making those penalties when it comes time to win the game in the 4th quarter.
Absolutely not. Cameron, I tell you what, I'm pretty hyped up right now. This is by far the most interesting game we've seen all season, likely our entire, year-and-a-half long career as commentator.
Max, are you saying that this game is more entertaining than the shutout or than the blank out that Onate pitched to Gadsden 2 weeks ago when they mercy ruled him at the start of the 3rd quarter?
Yeah, Cameron, some people might disagree with me, but I think it's just going to be my opinion on the matter. 7:19 left to go in the game. Knights up 34 of the Cavemen, who have 33. Jacob Willis is going to go with the keeper and powers forward for a Carlsbad first down.
Number 6.
What a tough and persistent runner Willis is, Max. This kid's a quarterback, and as I alluded to in the 1st quarter, oftentimes you'll find that quarterbacks don't want to get their jerseys dirty when it comes to running the ball, but this kid does not care. He's into the ground and pound style of running the ball out of the backfield, and I love to watch him play.
Absolutely, Cameron. A very, very, very talented player. It certainly wouldn't surprise me if maybe not necessarily NMSU, but some smaller colleges like ENMU decide to recruit him. Now with the handoff, there's going to be a loss of yardage for the Cavemen. 6:42 left to go in the game.
And that's a critical play to make for the front 4 of the Onate Knights. You know what's coming, Max. You know that the Cavemen are going to be pounding the ball down your throats for this entire drive. You have to be able to make 1 or 2 little stops like that every few plays in order to stay in the game and give your offense the opportunity to set up and score later on.
Oh, for sure, Cameron. I mean, if you just keep chipping away, making sure that you keep your front 7 strong, make sure that no holes are created by the O-line, then you're definitely going to be in a solid position to take it up. Now with the fake handoff, Jacob Willis goes to the quarterback keeper once again. He is still going, breaks several tackles, pulls out a juke, and is sat down for a 7-yard gain for the Carlsbad Cavemen.
This kid reminds me of a Johnny Manziel, but with a little bit more energy and a little bit better ability to run in between the hash marks. He's amazing. Johnny Manziel, probably minus all the arrogance and the bad reputation that he brought to Texas A&M University.
Yeah, exactly. And the alcoholism. That was unfortunate. 5:30 left to go here at the Field of Dreams. Knights up 34 of the Cavemen, who have 33 points. Box stacked once again. Now it is going to be, I believe, I don't know. Let's see. I think it's going to be an offsides on the Onate High School Knights.
Offside on the Knights.
Very blatant there.
An excellent job. That is what a hard count will do for you, Max. Great job of Willis down there to get his voice right and to throw the defensive line off. And I think Onate's crowd might have been a little counterproductive on that play. They got really loud for one of the few times tonight, and I think that might have thrown the front four off.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't surprise me, Cameron. You can see the defensive back, or the defensive end, sorry, almost fell on his butt there. He got so excited to wait on the right side for him. Already there. And number 11, Jaden Smith under center, takes the ball under pressure. Number 5, he's going to send it out of bounds. Although that is also going to negate the intentional grounding penalty, Cameron, because there was an eligible receiver downfield. Once again, props to Jaden Smith. Even though he didn't necessarily get a gain of yardage on there, he neglected the sack. 4:51 left to go in the game here. This second half has gone by like lightning due to all the running plays, Cameron.
Absolutely. But I was interested.
To get another first down for Carlsbad, courtesy of the quarterback turned running back, Jacob Willis.
First and 10, Cavemen.
To when you want to score and how that's going to affect Onate's chances to bring the ball back and score with a few seconds left in the game. You do not want to give them that opportunity.
Sure, and a low snap is bobbled a bit by Caden Smith, as he is going to be sat down short of a first down. And like you were saying earlier, Cameron, clock management and time management, it's a good life skill and it's an even better skill for coaching. One fantastic mark of a great coach is the ability to run the clock down and make it to his or her will. Knights 34, Cavemen 33, 2nd and 1 after the run there by Caden Smith.
So, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but Onate just called their first timeout of the half to stop the clock with 4 minutes and 4 seconds remaining. So Coach Valise needs to start playing a little strategy here too. He has to get the ball back in time for his offense to drive down the field and either kick a field goal or score a touchdown depending on the result of this drive for the Cavemen. Best case scenario is that the Knights do what they did on their last defensive possession and force a turnover by way of a fumble. But the chances of that happening are not good enough to count on if you're a defensive coordinator. So you have to count on your team to, 1, either prevent them from moving the ball any further, or 2, dragging this game out longer than it needs to be. That's the reason why the New Mexico State Aggies lost to Troy on September 17th.
Absolutely, Cameron. Now, I want to do a little bit of mathematics here. Let's say Carlsbad gets it in the end zone. They punch in 6. That makes the score 39-34 Cavemen. Now, I mean, what do you think? Do they elect to go for the extra point, make it 40? But that would definitely give the Knights a chance to beat them if they come back, score a touchdown, and win an extra point. Or do they go for 2 and then try and push it in overtime?
If Coach Bradley does not go for 2 in the event that his team scores a touchdown, I will be dumbfounded. You have to go for 2, because if you go for 2 and Onate gets the ball back and they score a touchdown, game over.
Exactly. You got Jared
I'm sorry,
Rico.
if you don't go for 2
Yeah.
and Onate gets the ball back and scores a touchdown, it'll be 40-39. You have to go for 2 and give yourself an opportunity.
Definitely. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. As Caden Smith is going to take it from under center, hand off to Willis, who's going to power forward through the, couldn't tell if it was the B or C gap there, but he's going to get 8 yards on the carry.
Tackle made by number 76.
The Onate front 7 has to be a little confused. Maybe they missed something on film during practice this week. I don't think they were expecting for this potent of a running attack by the Cavemen. And if you're the offensive backfield for Carlsbad, you have to be completely impressed with the way you've played so far tonight. The entire game you've imposed your will on the Onate front 7. You have to be proud of that.
Now the handoff to Jake and Willis here. That was a fantastically solid block there by number 2, Tate Collins on the right side. giving Willis the opportunity to punch a first down.
It's just so easy for the Cavemen, play in and play out, to move the ball 6 or 7 yards, which moves the chains very, very quickly and gets them into scoring position, but at the same time takes away a lot of time from the clock, which is what they want to do.
Definitely. Now it looks like the returning seniors on the Onate High School defense are sort of getting a taste of their own medicine since they completely ruled the ground game last year. The OHS offense, that I should say. Jake and Willis with the handoff, ran up, got a solid gain of 8 yards on the carry once again.
So now, Max, with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, you really, really need to employ the best strategy possible when it comes to scoring and giving the ball back to Onate. I say run the clock down to about 45 seconds when you have the ball at the 5-yard line and punch it into the end zone, and trust your defense, especially the secondary, to stop the Knights.
The handoff once again, this time to Tate Collins. He's going to be stopped short of the first down. I believe he may have even lost the yard. This is going to set up a third situation, 3rd and 2 for the Carlsbad Cavemen with 1:43 left to go in the game.
And I don't mean to get ahead of myself when it comes to potential situations in the future. I'm just going off of what I've seen so far tonight from the Cavemen and their ability to run the ball. It's just a scenario that I think is extremely likely here in the next couple of minutes.
Oh, absolutely. Alrighty then. Clock still winding down. 1:19 left to go. The Onate High School Knights are up by 1 point. The Cavemen are breaching the end zone. Jacob Willis rolling out to the right side. Pump fake. He is going to get a first down. And this will move the chains for the Carlsbad Cavemen.
Not only will it get a first down, but it will stop the clock, and the Cavemen will be set up on the 6.5-yard line with 1 minute and 7 seconds left. Perfect opportunity to punch it in and not give your opponent much time on their ensuing drive. But first things first, you have to score, Max, and we've seen so far it looks like their PAT kicker has struggled just to get the ball through the uprights. You don't want to have to count on a field goal kicker in a situation like this.
Absolutely, Cameron. You know, another thing that we can consider is the fact that if they do end up punching in, or they decide to let the PAT go for 2. So the handoff right here, running back is stopped short of the end zone. Anyway, depending on the results of this drive right here, if Onate does end up having to run it back, that could be crucial since Juan Royan has proved potent when it comes to running back kickoffs. Alrighty then. Now both teams still have 2 timeouts here, and Onate is going to take one of them. Sorry. That is going to give Onate 1 timeout left, and the Cavemen 2. Knights 34, Cavemen 33, with 42 left to go in the game.
So you have to be thinking here, after you score, if you're Coach Bradley, what is the best possible play for a 2-point conversion? You have the ball at the 3-yard line. Do you run it? Do you throw it? For myself in Madden, when I'm in Madden busy kicking the heck out of you in the first quarter, it's usually like 28-0. If I choose to go for 2, I usually like to call Spider 2Y banana and have my right-handed quarterback roll out to the right with the fullback go out into the flat, and usually if you time it perfectly, you can sneak it into the end zone, and that scenario often plays out in real-life football. However, I don't think the Cavemen will elect to do something like that because they are such a run-heavy team.
Likely not, Cameron. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of felt like that entire anecdote was just to make fun of me.
That's exactly right, Max. I'm surprised you caught on to that.
Yeah. Ouch. Appreciate that. You know what's something that I've caught on to also, Cameron, is the fantastic food served down at Rosie's Cafe in downtown Las Cruces. Now with the handoff, that is going to punch it into the end zone and give the Carlsbad Cavemen. Nope, not quite. The TD was negated. He's stopped inches short.
So here we go with 28 seconds left. They could potentially wait this thing out at 3rd and goal and seal the deal right here, but that runs a big risk. You have to push forward and push through. They do have 2 timeouts left, but it looks like Coach Bradley is going to go for the win here.
Exactly. Now it looks like he is going to take one of his timeouts. Here. with 10 seconds left to go in the game here at the Field of Dreams. Very crucial district matchup as Onate is coming into this 2-0 and Carlsbad 0-2. Knights up 34 over the Cavemen 33, although it looks like the tides are about to shift drastically as the Cavemen are knocking on OHS's door.
This is going to have to be the defensive stand of these Onate Knights high school career right here if they want to walk out of here with a win, especially between the A and B gaps of the offensive line, which is where Carlsbad has primarily been running the ball the last couple plays. You have to stand strong. They have about 2 feet down there before they can punch it in and effectively win the game. Onate has to be able to keep him out of the end zone here. This is the most critical play of the season thus far for the Knights.
Absolutely, Karen. Kind of reminds me of real life Friday Night Lights, the last game, the state championship with the Birmingham Panthers after punching the end zone with a couple seconds left. That's a good book, Karen. Alrighty then. Now Caden Smith is going to take it from under center. There's going to be a flag on the play. It's going to be an offside false start on the Cavemen. Very, very interesting development here as that is going to make this 3rd and 6. 3rd and 6, I'm sorry. No, it's going to move him back.
And that changes everything for Coach Bradley's Cavemen. You cannot have starts that are false this late in the game when you're down by 1 point and you have the ball at the 2-foot line. You have to be smarter than that, Lance. We'll see if they go for a pass here because now they ran the clock down, think they would be able to easily punch it in. But with 10 seconds left, I'm not so sure they'll be able to score on a running play.
Exactly. They might have to rely on their field goal kicker to pay. It looks like it is going to be a handoff here to number 2, Tate Collins, who punches it into the end zone for a Carlsbad Cavemen touchdown. 7 seconds left to go in the game. That is going to make the score 30, Cavemen 39, Knights 34.
You have to go for 2 here, Max. No question about it. You have to find the most effective 2-point conversion play that you can find, and you have to see if you can seal the deal here for your team.
Certainly.
One of the observations I made, Max, the clock didn't run on that play. The clock didn't start running until the referee signaled touchdown. And I think the clock operator here in the press box realized that and ran off 3 seconds, estimating the length of the play, which isn't a great thing to do. I don't know if anyone caught that down there. I just wanted to make that observation.
Yeah, perhaps an unfortunate mistake. But either way, Cavemen are now up 5 points over the Knights with 7 seconds left to go in this exciting district matchup. We saw our proteges, Carl Robinson and Zane McGill, having the time of their lives after that touchdown by the Cavemen. Very, very exciting play.
And look at this. A lot of the people here in the Field of Dreams are on their feet. This is by far the most exciting game that LCPS TV has covered thus far in the 2017 season.
No doubt about it, Cameron.
Max, I'm pacing around. I wish these microphone cords were a little bit longer because I can only walk around like in a 3-foot radius, which is really annoying me.
Yeah, so do I. Perhaps we're going to have to get one of our executive producers to work on that for us. Thanks, Matt. 7 seconds left to go in the game here. It's like a couple of Onate fans are starting to clear out. They need to wait. Sit your butts down.
So here we go, the ever-critical 2-point conversion that could basically decide the game if something were to happen on the kickoff.
Definitely. Alrighty then. Jacob Willis sends a pass high out to number 4. It is caught, but it is going to be a 2-point conversion, and it is going to be good for the Carlsbad Cavemen. I didn't think he got a foot down, Cameron, but apparently he did.
I think he did absolutely, Max. And what a reception there by number 4 for the Cavemen. A lot of confidence there by Coach Bradley. He basically told his quarterback to throw it up and let his best receiver come down with it, give him the shot on the 50-50 ball. And on that play, the coin landed in the favor of the Cavemen. They couldn't be more elated right now as I'm looking over at their sideline.
Oh, no doubt, Cameron. This has got to be a spectacular morale boost right now for Carlsbad. And this is also going to bring up probably the most important kickoff return of some of these players' lives.
So real quick, Max, let me think back 2 weeks ago, the Onate Gadsden game, the start of the third quarter. Monroe Young fielded the ball at about the 2-yard line, and he ran it back all the way to seal the deal in the third quarter. You have to watch out if you're the Cavemen right now. So far, we haven't seen them kick it deep at all. They've been kicking it to about the 30-yard line, which might be able to save them from letting the Knights go into the end zone on the kickoff.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Cameron.
But you never know about the hook and ladder. You were talking about Coach Valise telling his players to get the ball to Monroe Young no matter what. That might be the strategy here on a potential hook and ladder play.
Exactly, Cameron. And you were talking about how they typically only kick it out to the 30-yard line. But we see Monroe Young stationed right there at about the 25. All right, here we are. We'll kick off to the right side. It's bobbled, and it is touched and recovered by the Carlsbad Cavemen. That is going to be the final nail in the coffin for the Onate Knights. Cameron, I didn't quite catch the returner whose arms that it popped off of. Did you see?
I think it was number 9, Max, Carlos Marshall, who made a great play in the first quarter, the freshman. He bobbled the ball there and turned the ball over. That's going to steal it for the Cavemen. What an exciting game that we just witnessed here at the Field of Dreams.
No doubt about it, Cameron. I mean, coming here as the underdogs after a crushing defeat to Centennial High School last week. And now Onate looks like they're about to take this L. What a time to be alive.
Absolutely, Max.
You know, Cameron, I think the only time, thinking back in my 16 years and change on this earth, that I've been happier than this, that I've been more excited, than at this moment right now is when we were at Rosie's Cafe the other week enjoying their fantastic food.
Absolutely. A big thanks to Rosie's Cafe, our sponsor for tonight's edition of LCPS TV. And Max, before we go, I want to thank all of our wonderful students who are on the production staff, whether it be in the audio booth or on the cameras on the field or in the camera bay. They do a great job, and as always, a shout out to Matt Dawkins and Bill Fox for keeping this whole operation running smoothly every Friday night.
Definitely lots of very, very talented young men and women. Final score here at the Field of Dreams: Carlsbad Cavemen 41, Onate Knights 34. And I'd also like to just give a quick update that the Centennial High School Hawks have beat the Gadsden Panthers 42-7 in Anthony. We'll leave you with that and have a fantastic rest of your nights. We'll see you guys next week.
Go Egg.
Go Rosie's Cafe.